Hello, people. My name is Lewis Lee from All Ends Media, and this is Plan and Traffic, where we talk cars, boats, anything you put gas in, we talk about it. And we got my man Motormouth Ray, and we got our
Howdy,
special
fellas.
guest KJ Jones. You all know him from the hit show Hooptie. Hooptie. What's up, bro?
What's going on, Lewis, I'm sorry. What's happening?
No,
Lewis
you good?
Lee.
Hey,
Lewis Lee.
people call me all kind of stuff. Lee, Lewis, too
Right,
tall,
right.
all that. I get it all.
All good. Thanks for having me.
Hey, man, I appreciate you coming on. For the people in the chat, put any questions you want to ask, and we are live on YouTube and Facebook. So if you put something in the comments, we can see it. So KJ, we met at PRI this year, and it was a pleasure, man.
Yes, sir.
It's good to meet people that are doing in the same business. You know what I mean, and doing the same kind of stuff. So
yeah, that's like with the PRI show, pardon me, and the SEMA show. It's all about seeing cars and trucks and all that kind of stuff at SEMA and just racing hardcore race parts at PRI. But it's also about the people who attend, and we're all like-minded. We like cars, we like motorsports, we like all that type of thing. And for us to get together and do what we did, that's how this moment here has come together. It's just through networking. Who are you? One of the biggest questions I ask a lot of people, it's not even a big question, it's a simple question, is who are you and what do you do? That's two questions that can open up a lot of doors, basically.
yeah.
Actually, if I could add a third to that, it's who are you, what do you do, and why do I want to talk to you?
Right.
For me, it's general curiosity most times, Ray.
Yeah, for us too. So let me ask you, KJ, what do you do? I've seen the TV show, watched you on TV, but I don't know anything about you prior to or aside from that. So
well, I the simple answer that I use regularly, I need to protect the hashtag or whatever, but I play with trucks.
Okay.
I'm a senior content producer with MotorTrend's Truck and Off-Road Group. And as a senior content producer, which is the name that I've somewhat given myself now because print magazine is gone and using the term editor doesn't really apply, I don't think, anymore. That's just my own assessment of it. So, we're in a world of producing content and writing articles and such about certain topics. I do that with trucks. I produce content online for motortrend.com and subset trucktrend.com and fourwheeler.com. We're all under the same blanket. But in the big picture, I go out and I evaluate trucks. I put different parts on trucks and test them and then just report about them. So playing with trucks is what I do.
So maybe you can answer this, or maybe you have insight into this, because having been a multiple magazine subscriber for many, many years, and then having those subscriptions go away, I just got in the mail today again from Hot Rod Magazine. And they're saying that they have a year's cost of a magazine is like almost $300, but they're going to give me $170 off or whatever, and give me like a $15 subscription. And they had a term for it. It was like a pre-release kind of fact-finding thing. And I'm saying, they're putting out a magazine again? Like, I don't see that happening, but what's going on here,
Sometimes you find out things through forums just like this, Ray. I can't say I know exactly. I'm thinking the only thing that I'm aware of that might be something that could apply, I guess, monies you've already spent would be to a subscription to MotorTrend Plus, which is the app where you watch the shows. Now, you say you watch Hooptie World Championship. Maybe you already have that app.
Yeah, they did give me that because I had a Hot Rod Carcraft subscription that were, I renewed, and they were only a few months old, and that's when they killed the platform. So they gave me that free app, but that's a couple of years ago now. That's like 2 years.
Okay, then I have not heard anything about magazines on the big scale coming back. Of course, Hot Rod is still in print form, as is Four Wheeler and MotorTrend, but I'm not certain that Carcraft and then the titles that I worked on, I worked on Diesel Power. That doesn't have. There's been no talk of that coming back.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, thanks. That's what I thought. And it's kind of curious, but you see things like this, and And then you scratch your head and you say, what the hell are they doing? What's going on? You know? The world's changing in ways I don't like.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
Everybody's trying to figure it out and throw their stuff on the table. So I think that's what's happening with all magazines and streaming. Everything is a new thing right now. So everybody's trying to fill it out.
Yeah. Yep. Well, and I guess you have cost. You know, I mean, to print the magazine is expensive. I know here in New York a few years ago, we were partnered with a guy. I just had a stack of them. I put them on a shelf across there. And he made a local magazine for the car and motorcycle scene on this really thick, glossy paper, full color.
It's a lot of money.
And I said, geez, man, how do you do this? And he said, actually, it's cheaper to print the magazine now because they did it offshore. They produced it here, but I guess they had it done, overseas somewhere. Mm-hmm. And even with that, they were able to use that real thick paper, said glossy, full color, no shifting on the colors or anything. I said, man, I thought the world was going in a good place at that time, And
with the reduction in our business, 19 titles were discontinued, but some of that I'm guessing now. I don't know this on record, but there has been an enhancement in what you're talking about, like the binding and the paper on some of the magazines that remain. Those have been, I guess, refined and are, I guess, they present better than they did, and that might be because of the cost saved on the other magazines going away.
Yeah, I mean, back it's got to be 10 years ago or so. I wrote some stuff for Hemmings, and it was, and even that platform got sold like 3 times while I was involved with it. It was, I think, might have been AOL who bought it. Some big companies, because they don't trade cheap. And I'm like, holy crap! This even this stuff gets bought and sold.
I've been with the company. It's now MotorTrend Group, and I've been with the company under different names, i.e., being sold several times, more than I can count over the last almost 20 years that I've been with the company.
Yeah. Wow.
Nice.
Nature of the beast.
Yeah. It's like, they used to say, keep your resume, current every year. Now I remember a few years ago, they said, well, have it ready every 6 months. I think now you better have it in your top pocket.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Just carry it with you. But well, Louis, you're a magazine producer, editor. What's I
have
see some changes.
I have All Ins magazine, and I put it together, maybe 10 years ago. And I just dibble and dab, I add stuff here and there. It's all online. My main goal was to highlight builders, like backyard builders. And we kind of cover everything, like from a go-kart maker to NASCAR. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people that's not seen or not on TV or, in magazines, but they're building incredible stuff. So I try to highlight that stuff, in my magazine.
That's exactly what this one here did. It was called Full Throttle magazine, and they did the same thing. It was all local shops, local builders, and give the small guy a chance to be in the spotlight for a little bit.
How long ago was Full Throttle, Ray? It sounds familiar.
Hang on a second. I will show you one.
Listen, KJ,
going to the library.
Listen, Ray has everything right there in his basement.
Okay.
You mention any part, he'll reach over and grab it.
Well, almost. So, this was their second iteration. It went to Full Throttle Hot Rod, but again, it was a local. Yeah, this was their logo prior. Full Throttle Autos.
Then I believe there was a Full Throttle here on the West Coast, and it was more of like a newspaper type of publication that focused on local area drag racing.
Yeah, this was all local stuff. In fact, Louis, you'll let me see.
Now, Ray, KJ is from New York.
Oh yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Where
Elmsford, New York, right next to White Plains.
Oh, good, just above us. Yeah. Yeah.
Where are you? Where are you?
I'm down on Long Island. I'm in
okay.
Nassau County. Yes, yeah, so I'm down on the, a stone's throw from the beaches.
Yeah, I'm in Youngstown, Ohio.
Youngstown.
Yeah, I know you heard of it.
Youngstown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of a platform like this, because we can, we interact. I've through this platform and through Lewis, I've met guys from all over the world. Now yourself included. I mean, it's fantastic. You couldn't do that years ago. We had no chance, and we didn't know what other people were doing and what their talents and strengths and weaknesses were. So you couldn't share anything, and pretty much to be able to have that interaction it's priceless.
Oh, absolutely. The internet is often it's a blessing and a curse. You know what I mean? It really, the pendulum swings both ways, and it swings very, very quickly. But when it is a blessing is when it can tie like-minded people together. It can unite families and all that kind of stuff, man. I dig it then. And especially in the car game and the truck game, there's been so many people that you look at your Instagram, more so your Instagram and like your LinkedIn and stuff, where you're tied in a sense to people who you don't know, but because of the common being mechanics or cars or trucks, racing, when you do get together, there's no build up to meeting each other. You know what I'm saying? It's like each other in a way.
It's funny you said that. Just this past summer, my wife and I took a trip. We're looking at relocating, and along the way, I met up with not this guy. I met up with this guy prior to that. There's our boy Terry. How you doing, Terry?
That's the show right there. The show.
Now we got a real one tonight, buddy. We got a real one on here. What's up, Ray? What's up, Lewis? What's up, KJ in the house? What's up,
man? What's going on, buddy?
Yeah, feeling good. Thanks for being here, buddy.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Ray. Go ahead.
That's right. To finish my thought, what I was able to do was meet up with 4 people along this trip that I had met on the internet, and I'd been interacting with them for years and got kind of close to a couple of them. We really, formed a friendship, but never laid eyes on each other in person. And like you said, all that I guess it's like a dating site, you get it all out of the way, and then you meet each other. It's like, oh yeah, I know you.
Yeah, it's very cool. That's 100.
So
it is really a good feeling when you meet people that you've been talking to online.
Right.
At a show somewhere or out of town, you're like, oh man, it's like we brothers.
Yeah, I mean, there's honestly been instances where straight up, there's been instances where you're coming into town, you could stay at my house. It's like, whoa. like whoa. but it's genuine. It's not any kind of BS or anything like that. They genuinely mean that. Yes. And there had been an instance or two where that's been chalked up on, and it was rock and roll. It was like we've been boys for years.
Me and Terry, I stayed at his house like I've been knowing him for 20 years.
That's awesome. That's what it's about. That's what this stuff does. That's the blessing part. We won't talk about the curse.
right. Yeah, that goes a whole nother direction. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And of course, the invitation extends out to everyone here. I got plenty of room. Come on in.
Hey, we all gonna go at one time.
We can handle it. We got the garage shop. We can handle it. That's how me and KJ met.
Yeah.
Tell you a funny story. This is wild. My father, he was a mortgage broker. He passed in 2004, but he was a mortgage broker, and he used to deal with this guy named Trevor Archer.
TA,
exactly.
Yeah.
Right. And I saw KJ's line. What's it called? He was posting stuff. This is like last year that he took a picture of the Tappan Zee Bridge. Right. And I was, every now and then, like I would talk to him, like, hey, what's up, man? I like what you're doing and all this. And next thing I know, I see a picture of Tappan Zee Bridge. I was like, wait a second. Where are you at? And then he says that he's from, he's at the Tappan Zee Bridge. And I think you were leaving.
No, I was just coming in, actually. I was on a program with Jeep, and just the way Jeep had us routed to drive, we were driving the Wagoneer and the Grand Wagoneer. And from the city, they had us come up the Palisades there, hit the Palisades, hit 9W. Yeah. And then when we looped around, I says, oh man, we're going across the tap. And when I got on the bridge, and well, it's not the tap anymore, it's the Cuomo. But when we're going across the bridge, we're going across the bridge, and I realized, well, this is pretty crazy because it just might take me past my house, And I'm following the GPS route, it's a prescribed route that we were on. And I called my mom. I says, Mommy, I think we're going to be going by the house. And sure enough, we went not by the house on that drive, but we drove right to the front door of where I went to high school, which was pretty crazy. So we passed the high school, and Terry shouted me out through Instagram, and I told him, yeah, I'm in town, and this is where I'm from, and that's what started us in deeper communication than just an Instagram like or something like that. It's like, wow, you're from around the way, and some people, maybe not know people that I know, but we know of instances and places, more so places, in his area, Spring Valley, Nanuet area, and then in my area over in Westchester County. It was pretty good. It made the small world,
Yeah,
small world.
We used to bust them up in football.
Yeah, well, you didn't bust me up in football. Remember, you're a little younger, and our teams were quite undefeated. Thank you.
Yeah, I know. We couldn't get with it.
All right,
we tried, but it's funny because like we met up at PRI because it was a thing where like, hey, are you Oh, you're here? Okay, cool. I'm over here. PRI. Like it's huge, and so he was like, what should I get? I'm coming to see you. So yep. I told him where it was, and we met up. Had a good time. Me, him, Lewis Lee, and
Garrett Alexander. Yeah.
Had a good time. And then the next day I was leaving, and or maybe the day after, but I was on the plane, right? Now this guy Trevor Archer used to always tell me about this guy that he knew, right? That he knew, and he goes, Trevor, you got to meet him, man. Yo, he's a really good guy. He's out in California. Y'all guys need to hook up. This, that. He's doing something with Ford magazine and all this nonsense and everything. Not nonsense, but all this stuff. And I was like, cool. Now this is back in like maybe 2010, 2011, somewhere around there.
Jeez, 20 years.
Yeah. And so I was like, okay, cool. And I remember him saying that. And I ran to Trevor, I think earlier that year, last summer. He came over to my house on his motorcycle, and we were just talking. He was telling me about this guy, yeah, you and my friend got to meet up. He's really doing things and everything like that. He didn't say the name, and I wouldn't put two and two together, right? So fast forward, day I'm leaving from PRI. I get on the plane, right? And I'm just starting to think, I was like, this cat's from Westchester, and he's doing, and I was like, he's Ford, does trucks, race cars, and all this. I was like, I wanted the same cat that Trevor was talking about. So then I asked him, I texted him right before my plane took off. I was like, yo, KJ, do you know a guy named Trevor from, I think I said, Hartsdale?
Right. Yeah, you messed up the location, and that threw me.
And that threw him. He goes, no, I don't know him and all that. I was just like, okay, cool, okay, right? And so I was like, it must have been the same guy. And then he called me back up. What's it called? I think maybe later on that day, and he was like, Trevor Archer from
right. Yep.
I was like, yeah. And it puts two together.
My man. That's my guy right there. Yeah. That is just amazing that his dad was a business associate of Trevor, and Trevor as a de facto, he's family. Trevor's family to me. Ages ago, I dated Trevor's sister. So we became close just by way of me being in the family at that time, and after, our relationship didn't go forward, but the family relationship is maintained to this day. So when he told me that it was Trevor Archer, I'm like, man, that's my guy right there. Of course I know him,
and we got on the phone, man, me, Trevor, and KJ, man. I tell you, it was just so beautiful. It was like there was some tears, man.
It was a great conversation. Great conversation. It really was.
Yeah, he was telling me. Because you know what it was? I mean, like, it was good to see, KJ with Trevor and, like, getting back, because they haven't talked in years.
For a long time, yes.
I talked to Trevor, and then he started bringing stuff about my dad that I didn't know, like things that, how he helped people and all that. And I was just like, I knew my dad was, awesome man, but I knew he was awesome, but it just made him that much more awesome. And
the thing is, Trevor might be watching us right now, and I bet he's crying all over again.
Oh, he's probably with me. Give the man a Kleenex.
Yeah.
But it goes to show it's a small world, especially with car community.
Yeah.
And like when you got someone that you want to reach out to, do it. Just reach out to him. I mean, one or two things could happen. Either he'll ignore you, or be a bud like KJ.
Yes, sir. No doubt.
Terry, let me ask you something. Do you have bad relationships with anybody? I mean, and I mean that in a great way, because you have so many good, positive stories about people. That's fantastic, man. I think that's a blessing. It really is. That's
and it's
I
like
applaud you for that.
I appreciate that. I really do, and that's part of the thing that I always wanted to come across with when I do my videos. It's more important to me to have people say, one of the best compliments I ever gotten was a guy. He texts me and he's like, Terry, I got to thank you. I was like, yeah, what's up with that? Thank you, I appreciate that. He says, because him and his son, who was I think probably 11 at the time, he says, I have to screen every car video that we watch, because like I don't want to watch it if it has curses or whatever. And he says every time, you post a video and I see Coverman 66, I know I don't have to worry about curses. I know that me and him can watch it, and I don't have to act surprised because I am surprised, watching at the same time he is. So he says, I thank you. And it's compliments like that, man. It's beautiful. I mean, yeah, I get people asking me if I'm a Mormon.
Wow.
Wow.
I was like, I just don't curse. I could, use other words,
Sure.
And I tell you a story, one last one. On Monster Garage, when I was doing Monster Garage, they took me out on Wednesday, and they said, Terry, can we speak to you, the producers? I was like, yeah, what's up? He goes, this isn't like, regular TV, right? I was like, yeah. He goes, I said, why? What's going on? He goes, well, we noticed you haven't cursed. And I was like, what? I'm sorry. He goes, no, you can curse. You can let it fly. I said, everyone else is like cursing like sailors, but you haven't said one curse. I was like, I want to stay true to my channel. Plus, I'm not that guy who, trust me, if I hit my hand with a hammer, you're going to hear some stuff. But,
I can dig it, man. You put your toe against an engine block and
you're going to hear some stuff,
I just look at a hammer and I curse.
Yeah.
Jeez.
But no, and that's what it's all about, man. It's all about, like I said, like I always like to see the best side of people. So I figured the way to see the best side of people is let them see the best side of you. And my father was just like, you're a big kid, like automatically people are going to get an uneasy feeling around you. So always wear a smile, man, and take that uneasiness away, because anytime someone sees someone who's big and intimidating looking, they're going to automatically think big and intimidating, but then you walk up with a smile, and it's just my natural person. So he says, you'll be all right. And things like that, my pops taught me that, I miss the man dearly. And
right on.
But thank you, Ray. I appreciate that compliment, man.
Yeah, well, it's well deserved. And when I met you, yeah, you're bigger than me, but when I hugged you, I said, man, this guy's a teddy bear.
I love everyone, man. I love everyone.
Very good.
It's like I always say, love them until you get a reason not to,
Yeah.
So they give you a reason not to.
So let me switch gears here a little bit and ask KJ, how the hell do you get those cars to go so fast, man? Those are big cars.
Which cars are you talking about?
The ones I saw on the TV show, the
challenge.
Oh, on the Hooptie World Championship?
Yeah, man. How
well, I tell you what, Ray, those cars weren't that fast to me, but
okay. they kind of look fast, I guess, on the
yeah,
I'm just
like the camera put 25 pounds on my ass, right?
Okay. Just talking relative terms, because you do have some of these cars are almost 5,000 pounds.
Yeah. All the performance for all the vehicles in Hooptie World Championship was up to the owners and the drivers, the teams that participated. Those people, men and women, all did their own thing, and me and David Freiberger were just along for the entertainment. Basically, we were the co-host of the show, but we didn't have any input on how any of the cars were configured or how they would perform. It was just really a run what you brung. And as far as performance that I really pay close attention to, that's at the drag strip, quarter mile performance. And I think the quickest car, I believe one of the Nissans ran 13s, maybe. I don't even, honestly, I don't remember, but you know, and not to take anything away from running 13s, but you know,
Right.
the way you said that, I'm like, did something go 9 seconds and I missed it?
No, I don't think so. I was just looking at the big stuff. It was were there a lot of breakages that happened during the
There was some pretty decent carnage. That was one of the things, but the other cool side of the carnage, especially for the MR2D2 team, they had an engine out and then an engine back in and the engine apart. But throughout the carnage, everyone answered the bell for the next segment of the competition. There weren't any full-on washouts where someone was done before the deal was over, which was really, really cool. It said a lot about the perseverance and the grit of all the competitors. And one of the things that was also awesome was that it was a competitive event, but it was a competitive event where there was probably more camaraderie than I've seen at anything as far as automotive competitions go. There wasn't any type of a cutthroatness or, you know, side-eyeing or anything like that. You had participants staying in the shop pretty much all night to help someone else try to get their car back up and running for the next segment. So that was what was just tremendously awesome about Hooptie World Championship, something that I'm going to remember for a long, long time, because I've been involved with racing for close to 4 decades at this point. You know, it's pretty crazy to think that, but to be around something where it was that competitive, but there was that much spirit happening and cooperation and cooperative spirit, that was just awesome. The only other thing that's somewhat like that is Hot Rod Magazine's Drag Week, where you also have a lot of participants who will pitch in and try to help someone make it to the end. Because with Drag Week, or I think any of the drive and drag competitions, and they're sprouting up quite a bit now in the landscape. Finishing is a win in something like that. You know, you're driving a car with a lot of horsepower. It's very sensitive, and it's a quote unquote street vehicle or street legal car. But on the other side of it, it's a thoroughbred, and you know you can't push a thoroughbred, but so far before it's gonna hurt itself. So to see people in that type of competition also come together and help the next person out, that's it's rewarding. It says a lot about, you know, the human spirit.
Yeah, we just saw on Sick Week that just finished. Yes. Same thing. A lot of camaraderie and helping.
Exactly.
Cool. Yeah, neat. Terry's going to be in Sick Week next year. I think he's going to bring one of his cars because they're going to be fast enough. I think.
I'm working on it.
Well, this car behind me was built for Hot Rod Magazine's Drag Week way back in 2006.
Oh wow!
It was intended. It's a full interior car. It's a street car as they come, and it makes 1,000 horsepower at the tires.
You were telling me about that one. Okay.
What kind of car is it? What are we looking at?
It's an '86 Mustang Coupe.
Okay. All right. Nice.
Did you have that in New York?
No. I've had Mustangs for years, and I did have a Mustang. I had a couple of Mustangs back when I was in New York, but this one was acquired since I've been in California. I got this in 2005.
You said it was a coupe, so it's the LX.
Say again?
You said it was a coupe. This is the LX?
Yeah, it's an LX. It's a coupe, yes.
Okay. I like that one better. I always like the LX a little bit better.
Yeah, the trunk cars is the first and not only trunk car I've had. I've had mostly hatchbacks, but this is a trunk car with T-tops that makes it kind of special.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
they
different.
Did make those, didn't they? Yes. Okay. Usually see the hatch with the T-roof.
Exactly. Yeah, it was a rare car, a rare find. I found it on the internet. We're talking about the internet. Found it through a Mustang forum. I had seen one when I was in New York. I knew a guy that actually had one, and that was back in 93 or 4 maybe. And I knew a person that actually owned one, and it was just remarkable because, as you said, all the Mustangs, the Fox Mustangs, were hatchbacks and GTs and LX hatches and all that kind of thing, and then regular coupes are convertibles, but a coupe with T-tops was like, what the heck is that? And my friend Norris McCoy worked at Turbo People. He bought one, and he bought it from, I think, Mike Resta. I knew, like, the first guy that had it was Mike Resta, who worked at the auto parts store. And then Norris, I think, bought it from Mike or this guy named Kenny. But Norris got it, and he put a turbo on it and made it really fast. But anyway, it was a T-top coupe. And then years later, when I moved to California, I had it in the back of my mind, but had talked about it to Mustang people and stuff. It says, there's a T-top coupe out, that's out there. Oh, no, that's crazy. No, they never made that. I'd get all kind of argument. I'm like, well, I know what I saw, and I know what my friend had. Years later, 2000, and I think it was 04 or 05, I was on a Mustang hardcore50.com, which was just a forum. This is before your Facebook and all that kind of stuff. So it was a forum for late model Mustang enthusiasts, and the owner of this car posted a one ad, said, I have this car for sale, and had a photo of it, and it was a T-top coupe. And I said, oh my God, I mean, my heart started racing. I know all about these, and there's a lot of people out there that don't know about them, and I have to get it. And he was in Southern California, and I contacted him by, I might have been email or maybe a message in that system, in that message board system, a private message. And he hit me back, and I says, do not sell it to anybody else. I'm coming with a trailer. And I went out to I guess it was close to Poway, California, or like Indio area. It was a long drive. I put 430 some round trip miles on it to get it. On my truck. Yeah.
How many of those cars did they make with that body style? Do you know?
If it's in here, you're talking about your basement with everything. I think the Marty is in here somewhere. And if you give me a second, I can tell you. Can I walk away from the camera for a minute, Lewis?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on a minute.
I'll tell you one thing. KJ.
Yep.
Before you walk away, well, I'll tell you when you get back. This is I like
the
that.
Marty was where I could find it.
Oh,
there you go. Wow, it's better than me. Nice.
I had a Marty report done, and statistics are your car was one of 8,000, call it roughly 8,082 with this paint code, 3,927 with this paint and trim code, 2,037 with this engine transmission. It was a 505 speed car. Mm-hmm. And 6,000 or 6,600 ordered from the DSO, and 8,361 with the California emission system. That's for the 86 Mustang two-door sedan. I don't know. Let me look at this a little more and see how finite it gets as far as this specific setup. But I would go with the 2037 with that particular engine and transmission for 86. That sounds about right. It wasn't a huge production with the V8 in them. There probably are more with the 4-cylinder.
Yeah.
Well, you know something? I'm gonna, we're family now, so I'm gonna tell you fellas something. All right? There was a time, right, where your boy almost bought a Capri. You know how the Mustang had the Capri twin?
Yeah, the Mercury.
I almost bought, I think it was an 86 or 87 Capri 5.0 because it was different. I liked the hood scoop that it had on it.
Yep.
And I almost pulled the trigger. I'll
tell you, I have a good friend, my buddy Gerard. He was racing in IMSA, the ST2 class, the street class years ago, and he was racing Mustangs. He'd always pick up like a notchback or a hatchback Mustang, and he put the 5.0 in it. But then he was competing. He was in the same class as the Corvettes and the Camaros, and he'd get him on the turns, but they'd get him on the straightaway. So then he went out and he bought and built a Capri. And I said, why'd you do that? He goes, well, the Capri is a lighter car than the Mustang. Mm-hmm. So he put a Turbo 4 in it, and he was cleaning up. He went through every iteration: fuel injection, non-fuel injection, turbo, non-turbo, V8, 4-cylinder, the whole 9 yards. But he did switch those Capris, Terry, because they were lighter, and had a lot of success with them.
Yeah, well, believe it or not, Terry, I'm a Mustang guy. Mustangs were my livelihood for 10 years when I was with 50 Mustang and Super Forge magazine, and just been a hobby long before I worked on the magazine. But it was this close to not being a Mustang guy at all. I started out with an interest and ambition to get a Buick Grand National. I was almost a Grand National. Yeah. Back in 1986, I was going to buy my first dealer brand new car. You know, I was working, making money, and getting ready to pay a car note, etc. And I had researched the Grand National through and through. I knew it was a bad dog, and I just had to have one and all of that kind of thing. So I went with my dad, I went to Mark Buick in Yonkers, New York.
Exactly where it is. Right down the street from the slot cars.
Well, that's Elmsford, New York. That's Elmsford.
Okay.
Yeah. But went to Mark Buick in Yonkers, and I was with my dad, had my deposit and had down payment money, and was going to get a Grand National. They had one on the floor, and it wasn't trimmed the way I wanted it. The bottom line was they had to order my car, and got everything set, and the paperwork was, literally drawn up. And the last thing the salesman said to me was, "All right, KJ, it's going to take 16 weeks for them to build your car."
Wow.
They were building them at a plant in Texas, and you figure this is maybe the middle of June, and I'm 22 years old, and you're telling me 16 weeks to get my car built. No deal.
But you know what it is? You might have got an 87.
I took the deal down, is what it is, and I'm kicking myself for it every day.
You might have got an 87. Because those 87s were factory freaks.
I know. I took the deal down, and I went to another place in the Bronx called OLDS. It was Own Lease Drive System, OLDS, and this was kind of like a CarMax of its day, where you could get any make, model, whatever you wanted, they could get it there, and it was like leasing programs as opposed to buying. So I went in that showroom, and the salesman, we were talking, and he says, "Well, what about that right over there?" And it was a 1986 5-liter Mustang. And I looked at it, and I looked at him, and now remember, I Grand National's on my mind. I looked at him, and I says, "What the hell am I going to do with that?" And I didn't get it. And then fast forward a couple of years later, and the cars became my life for the most part.
Wow.
Well, Terry, I got to say, I've been asked to put you on notice that Brian has now filmed you saying that you were almost a Mustang guy. So he's got you. He got you old, man. He got you. And he just wants you to know it, too.
You know, and I thought about it when I was saying it, but I said, no one's going to catch it because I said we're family. I lightened the blow up a little.
And you know what it took for me to become a Mustang guy?
Talk to me.
My best friend got one dealer brand new in 1988, and he came to my house on a Saturday night and came upstairs to my room and says, "Come on, let's go take a ride." And I looked out the window and I saw it sitting in front of my house. I'm like, whoa, wow, that's pretty cool. And this is a car that I said 2 years prior, I said, nah, what am I going to do with that thing? And I got in the passenger seat, and he let the clutch out, and the car went all kind of crazy. And I says, "Oh my goodness, this is incredible."
And that was only 260 horsepower at that time, if that.
If that, and it was just like, okay, well, it just took one ride, and I had to get one, and that's how it worked.
Yeah. Well, here's a question for you. Knowing what you know now, if you could do it all over again, right? Would that Grand National be in your garage now?
100%. That Grand National would be in my garage now, and I'm gonna break you guys' heart. The first car, I was talking about Grand National being my first dealer brand new car. The first car that I bought with my own money was a 68 GTO 404 speed.
Nice.
Where is it now?
Yeah. Right. Nice.
Where is it now? I bought that car in high school.
I think Terry took it apart. He cut one apart.
I bought that car. Now get this. This is I'm an old guy, so this is way back in the day. But I bought that car. I bought that car for $700.
Wow.
And the brakes almost cost more than the car did. I bought the car with no brakes, and that's why one of the reasons why I guess the guy that sold it to me sold it so cheap. He sold it to me because he didn't have the money to put the brakes on it. This was at the time, your Le Mans, and Terry, you probably know this. Your Le Mans and probably Chevelles had a 2-piston caliber. This had a 4-piston caliber in the front.
Kelsey.
And You could go to Napa. I went to Hunts Point in the junkyards. I spent the day in one junkyard's like brake caliper room, and I'm trying to find the calipers, and it's like, no, you're not going to get it there. And I had to go to Pontiac and order the calipers, and I think I paid $700 for the car. I paid about $500 for the brakes.
Those were the first generation Kelsey Hayes 4-piston calipers.
Yep. I learned a lesson there. So I paid almost as much in brakes as I paid for the car. But after I put brakes on it, it was a bad dude, man. 400 4-speed, a lot of fun, and I sold it. That would be in the garage, and the Grand National would be in the driveway.
Okay. All right. But let me ask you this though: Did the GTO make it to Masters?
Say again?
Did the GTO make it to Masters Park?
Oh, that GTO made it everywhere, dude. That GTO made it. That GTO rode, man. I mean, that's in the day when, streetcar really was streetcar. You figure in 1968, they were making them to drive, period.
Totally.
And this wasn't stepped on or really, didn't have any kind of heavy duty cam in it or anything like that. It was just really a driver. The only caveat in that, I would say, is today or in that day, if there was a 5-speed available, it probably would have been a little more pleasurable. But
when did the Rock Crusher come out?
Say again?
When did the Rock Crusher come out? That was a 5-speed, wasn't it?
No, but this was a 4-speed car. It didn't have a Rock Crusher in it. I think the Rock Crusher was a little later. Was it like maybe 70 or 72?
The M22 is what's called the Rock Crusher. It's a 4-speed with straight cut gears. Instead of the M21,
it's a 4-gear though.
It's 4-gear.
It's not a 5-gear.
4-speed, yes.
Masters, so you guys know, because each one of you guys probably have it in your area, like a place where people used to gather up and get together, like a big, huge car show. But if someone ran them out, they go down Route 59, get onto New Jersey Turnpike, and it was like a mark off where it was just a drag strip.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Used to mark it off.
I might have been out there 1 or 2 times.
I might
have been. I'm not gonna. I might have been.
That's
the limitations is how long.
Yeah, I seen things.
Right.
Because you know what it was when I first got my license. That's when they pretty much were shutting it down. Wow. So I might have seen 1 or 2 runs out there. Might have. I don't know.
Well, I got to tell you, we don't like to upstage the guests on this show, but I did buy my 65 GTO for $75.
Wow.
And it does have.
I'll take that upstaging, man. Wow. $75.
And it does have a 68 400 in it with a 5-speed now.
Good for you, man.
So just
good for you, man. That's outstanding. But for $75, well, pardon me. How clapped out?
You got it. I bought the car in 1975. It was 10 years old. So you could get, $100 car. It would have been a $100 car, but I got it not running. It wasn't running. Right. So it was a $75. It was part of a package deal with a 67, and we barred the price down. So, but you could do that back in the 70s. That was the time to do that.
Yeah, my time was the 80s, Ray, and there was still some of that or quite a bit of that. The thing in the 80s was a paper. And actually, we went out to Long Island to go look at a car once. Car Buyers Market.
Oh, sure.
You remember that?
Yeah.
Car Buyers Market was you'd get it every week religiously and look at what the deals were and stuff. And again, that was a time when a $3,000 car was expensive.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's when a $3,000 car was expensive. So
$3,000 car, you're looking at a CUDA. You're looking at like a CUDA.
You could find something $1,000 or less that you could work on and make it your own. That was a swinging deal.
I tell you, it was 1979 when I bought the 68 GTO with the 400 in it, and I paid $200 for the car. And the motor had been rebuilt and only had like 30,000 miles on it. So I took the engine and tranny out, and then I sold the shell for $200.
Yeah. Well, the heartbreak in my GTO was I sold it to a guy that he actually pestered my grandfather, because my grandfather's garage was my shop back in that day. And when I went away during the winter, the guy, he used to shovel and snow blow my grandfather's driveway. and he saw the car in there, and he would always, hey, you know, do you want to sell it? And my grandfather, this is my grandson's car, you know. I'm like, no. And I talked to my grandfather, and he'd say, you know, this guy he's asking about that car. He just keeps asking about the car. Da 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 da. So I finally relented and sold it to him, and I got good money for it. Don't get me wrong, I got really nice money for it for the time. But then and there's the heartbreak. He fabbed the nose into like a one-piece tilt nose, and I'm like,
oh wow.
You know, and don't get me wrong, it's his car now. You do what you wanna, but that was just like a dagger to me in seeing that. And then the real crusher was, you fast forward many years later, and I'm here in California now, and the first time I watched any type of Barrett Jackson's and saw what that kind of car could go for, and I'm like, you got to be joking. You have to be joking right now.
Right. Yeah, they've all come up. I mean, it's, you know, not many people were able to save them. I've always felt very fortunate. All the moves I made through my life, getting married, having kids, I was always able to keep the cars, and you know, sold other ones, of course. But that one, that's a member of the family. You know, that's
what's up. That's what this is. I told my wife, I said, listen, all you got to do is get a backhoe, measure it out, and make the hole big enough. Just drop it both down in there, and everything will be fine.
There you go.
little ramp on in there.
Yes, sir. Just call the excavating company and tell them make a big hole.
Yep. Got that right.
All right, so we're at 9:47 into the show, so I'm gonna let some of the fellas in that are usuals, and they can ask you some questions. You know.
Oh, Brian's coming. God.
Tell some lies.
Oh, should I brace myself?
Oh man,
I'm sober, Brian. I'm bracing myself.
Hey, this is a good bunch of fellas, man. These are my people
They're
here.
good. They're good guys.
All right. Chassis John.
Terry.
There he is, Johnny.
What's up, guys?
Good to see you, John.
Hey, KJ, man. So
What's up,
cool
John?
that you're on here.
Thank you.
And your story's phenomenal.
Thank you, man. Appreciate
I'm just
it.
loving it. And you keep mentioning all of this stuff because I'm a Long Island guy.
Okay. All right.
I'm down in Florida now.
There you go. I'm in SoCal, so I mean New York's always home, but SoCal is SoCal too.
Yeah. Awesome stories.
What's going on,
Very
KJ?
good. Tonight's been great.
Guys? Pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
Hey, KJ, can I drop a name and see if you know him?
Go for it.
Ben Alameda.
That's my guy, little Benny. Yes, sir. He's one of the best Ford men. I won't even just put it in the West Coast. I'd say in the country.
Wow.
Then you probably know his mentor.
Oh man, Charlie Stevens.
His son.
Charlie Stevens.
His son, Mike.
Oh, I know Mike.
Has been my best friend since I was 13 years old, and I'm 52 in a week.
Wow. Small. See, there you go,
Damn,
guys.
you getting
We talked
old,
about it when
brother.
the show started. Small world. Charlie Stevens, God rest him, man. That guy he's Benny's mentor, and he still is. Forget it. He's gone from this earth, but one of the most brilliant Ford engine guys I've ever encountered, and he was also a mentor of sorts to me. He sat here in my house and drank beers. You know what I mean? We were good.
He flew me out to the first PRI West show, and me and Benny just had a blast. And we sat there and we talked to Smokey Unit for about 35 minutes, talking about exhaust velocity and step headers and all this stuff. And it was just like, and Charlie, I could say I miss him every day. I know Mike does too. And that was the thing about Charlie. If he saw potential in you, he did not hesitate one bit and would step up and do whatever. I mean, you know, he bought Benny his first flow bench.
Yes, he did. 100%, man. I mean, look what he did, you know, for the guys down there in Carson or Torrance down there. Gosh, it's Mark. I can't remember the name of the shop.
Probe. Well, you talking about from Probe?
Yeah.
It did. Yeah, he was one of the initial backers at Probe Industries.
Absolutely. Yeah, I know Charlie and Mike and D. Very. D was here. D's been in the house, so they're family, no doubt.
Yeah, Mike just finished up my aluminum headed 466 for my 66 Cyclone.
There you go. All right, should be a killer.
Oh yeah, I got a couple of them. I got 3. I got 2 two-door hard tops and a convertible.
Oh, nice.
And I bought a S Code 390 out of Denton, Texas, and we're going to put a 5-speed behind it in a convertible. And but like I said, I wanted to drop that name and see if DC would catch a reaction, because only certain people knew what DC meant.
Absolutely.
But no, glad to chat with you and have a minute to meet with you, because I see, like I said, I see friends and stuff like that, but you and I have never met. I know who you were and what Charlie thought of you and what Mike and D and all them mean. What you mean to them. So.
Thank you. They mean everything to me too. Charlie was my guy, man. I miss him. He's my Heineken buddy. We'd sit back and drink Heinekens, and he'd tell me everything. He never held back with telling me about a Ford engine. I mean, just engines in general. But he gave me some tricks that helped make some of my hot rods pretty good. He, as you know, was more big block focused. And actually, I gave him. It was like the weirdest trade ever. It's pretty much I gave him, but I had a bunch of big block stuff that I didn't know half of what it was. I just came up on just a lot of big block stuff. I think me and Charlie settled up for like 2 cases of beer.
Wow.
The last conversation that Charlie and I had, we were discussing a flatty. I having him build me a flatty, because if you spend any time around him, he loved flathead Fords.
Yes, sir.
And I was going to have him build me one just to put it on a stand, just to go. Charlie built that flatty for me.
Right
and
on.
like I said, unfortunately, he passed shortly after that conversation.
Did you were out at the Palace on the Hill? Well, the house wasn't the Palace as much as the garage was. Let's just get that right.
Yeah, I never made it out there. It was one of those things that we were supposed to do a couple of shot shows and all that, and just life kind of got in the way, and I never made it out there. I know Mike told me when he got there, he goes, I get in the garage and he goes, there's early Hemi stuff in this corner, and this is all flathead stuff, and so he called Benny, and Benny came out there and was a lifesaver, and Benny called some of the guys he knew, and he goes, okay, because they had the daunting task of getting all that stuff back to Georgia, because
right.
And I jokingly refer to that Benny was the last person I knew in California, and now he's in Vegas.
Yeah.
So
well, you know me now.
Okay, well, I do know somebody in California then again.
Yes, sir.
But no, he's like he told me, he goes, when he called, Benny called a couple guys, and they came in and bought all the Hemi stuff, and then another couple guys came in and bought all the flatty stuff, because Mike is like, I don't know any of that stuff, and it's not what we do. It's all, and he goes, I have no idea what it's worth. So, and then they packed everything up, unfortunately, and it is what it is when they pass. But
he was a truck driver.
Oh, well, I am a truck driver, so that's why when he called and told me that Charlie had passed, we had debated on me either taking a truck out there and renting a flatbed or something to pull all, because you being that you had been there, he had machines and lathes, and he had everything that you might ever need in the garage.
Seriously, this was, forget the house, the garage was the only place you needed to be. It was amazing. It was truly what all of us on this call right now want. 100%.
And I know Mike is pushing real hard to get the Ranchero finished, because he said when he goes, when I got there, he goes, the Ranchero was on the lift and there was no suspension under the front of it, so they had to make it a roller to get it loaded and to get it to Georgia. So but no, like I said, I have heard your name bandied about when my conversations with Benny and Mike and all them, and I was just like, what, I think it's the same KJ, and I just, again, had never had a chance to meet or to reach out to you. But when I saw you were coming on here, I was going to reach out there. And by the way, Terry, I guarantee that Mustang behind him ain't got no litter scooper under the hood.
Well, I got to say something, Vince. It's
ahead.
been a while since we've seen you here, and it's good to see you back. You do know how to make a comeback. I will say that.
I try, Ray. I had dental surgery. They did the bottoms this morning, so that was another $12,000. So it's a $32,000 grand.
Wow.
Yeah, unbelievable.
I will say this though, Spider-Man says it best. Everyone gets one.
There you go.
Everyone gets one.
But
Hey,
no,
KJ, I got a buddy that lives 10 minutes away that I know you know.
Brad Lagman.
Mr. Ford, Evan Smith.
Oh, Evan Smith. Evan Smith is he's in Florida.
Yeah, he lives 10 minutes from me.
Oh, from you? Okay, I thought you were saying 10 minutes from me. I just saw Evan. I saw Evan
over
this
the
weekend.
winters.
I was out of Pomona.
Yeah.
Hey, what town are you in?
Say again.
What town are you in, though?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Say again.
What town do you live in?
Oh, I'm in Reseda.
Stockton.
No, not Stockton.
You're
I'm
where?
down in Reseda in the southern California, the San Fernando Valley.
Okay. Yeah, I'm from Stockton, California. I moved here to Minnesota 8 years ago. So.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. And your name is like heavy in California, bro. It's all over the place. So
that's
that's
famous. Concerning in some respects, guys.
Hey, mine is too, but not for the right reason. You know what I mean?
That's why he's in Minnesota.
Right.
I'll tell you what,
Why he puts
man,
up with the cold.
This is something that I lost my dad last year, just a little bit over a year ago now, and this is something that he imparted in us, and I promise you, I live by it, as do my siblings. Your name is what you got, man. You know what I'm saying? Your name is what you got, and don't do anything to screw it up. Don't do anything to mess it up or have tarnish put on it in any respect. So when people, when you guys are saying this, John and you, and your name can't be Arco, but
it is.
Arco. Is it Arco? Okay, yeah. Okay, Arco. Oh, well, Arco and John and you guys saying that you've heard my name. One side of me has to do like a quick process, like, man, could this be bad? But to hear that it's not bad is just, it's thank you. It's rewarding. You know what I mean? I guess I'm doing some stuff right.
You're in the right house tonight.
Yeah, you're in the right house.
Man.
KJ, do you remember Charlie's 3 rules of life to live by?
I can't say that I do, but when you say them, they'll come back. I don't.
Admit to nothing, deny everything, and demand proof.
Demand proof.
Sounds like a New York street credo.
And when you're confronted with photos, plead insanity.
Hey, my favorite is 3 can keep a secret if 2 are dead.
There you go.
Hey, there's that.
Arco's hung out with some of the same guys I have, apparently.
There's that.
Ray, just to let you know, I believe that Charlie was initially from the New York area because
okay.
I know he has got some ties in the New York area.
Yeah,
because that's where Mike was born in New York up there, and he's, like I said, like we've talked. Seems like KJ, all of my friends at one time had one thing in common. They were all from Suffolk County, Long Island.
Well, okay. Long Island.
Come on, man. Suffolk County kicks.
So KJ,
well, Long Island, I will say Long Island was the first drag strip I ever went to was in Long Island.
Yeah.
So,
National or Hampton?
National Raceway. National Raceway.
Speedway, yeah.
And I was National Speedway. And I was a little guy, if you will, and I went based on the radio commercials on WABC. It's like, man, I gotta see that. I gotta be
Sunday.
Yeah. And we went out to National Speedway, and then West Hampton. I've raced at West Hampton.
Dragway, sure.
Yeah. Raced there for years and years.
The only starting line with a dip.
Yep.
So KJ,
and Top End.
And then they redid it.
Top End had
They went back there and redid the whole track. It was nice then.
Yeah, it was.
The guy that owned it was a schmutz.
It turned into a real shithole for a while. It was terrible.
God.
Yeah.
Hey KJ,
and the funny part is the track was owned by a paving company.
Yeah, right.
Go figure.
Go figure.
What's up, Lewis?
I don't know.
So KJ, you had mentioned my bus earlier. Arco, he rounded up the crew, and they all came here to Ohio and helped me cut my roof off.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
that's cool. I watched some of the video of you guys getting down. I like the way you made like for all intents and purposes like a Vista roof, where you kind of slope Yeah, the transition. That's pretty cool the way you did that. I really am interested in seeing the floor plan on that, man, and just how you're gonna lay it out with your sleeping area and the galley and all that kind of stuff, man. It's a brilliant idea, in this day of overlanding and camping and being out, out in the element and this, that, and the other. Bottom line is you can get into a bus pretty cheap. And, you probably have, it might be an international in it with not too much time. I mean, it's basically just taking kids to and from school, and it's got a very short service time on it. So, your value is in something like that if you can do what you're doing and floor plan it and make it a camper and make it like an RV. It doesn't have to be a $500,000 Prevost.
Yeah. Well,
we
it's
got
gonna be
a
$500,000 when I'm done with it because I'm going all out because we're gonna live in that bad boy.
So it's on the hot tub in it, huh?
It's crazy too because when we found out about the project and then he was calling it a schoolie. I've never heard that before. I thought it was just something that Lewis made up, but then all of a sudden, schoolie blows up on the internet. It's all over the place, and now I know so many people on the internet that are doing these, and then personal friends too. We have a friend right here in Grand Rapids. They're building a school bus to drive around and live in, and haul like their Harleys and their cars and whatever. It's really cool. It's a really neat community.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah, my buddy Kenny, he has a Harvester International, like one of those small school buses, like a 70 Harvester.
International Harvester.
Short bus.
Right. International Harvester. Okay, you got me. But yeah,
probably got a DT466 in it.
Yes, sir.
That's a good motor. That's a good motor, Lewis. That DT466. That's a really good motor.
Yeah, that's a good
I
engine.
did some research before I got it, and they rebuilt it 5 years ago in frame.
So there you go.
So yeah,
you got a $500,000 under your hood, buddy.
Yeah.
You got a $500,000 all day.
So hey, I want to give it up to the guys in the chat room and Arco because I mentioned it to Arco when we were at PRI on the phone, and he took it to the top level where it became a event where it was like a company came in and just cut my roof, lifted it, and they were out of here. Sunday they were gone.
Makeover team, huh?
Yeah.
It was wild watching it.
Hi.
Hey, Heidi. That's the boss. That's the boss right there, Heidi.
I'm working. He gets to play.
So the reason I brought that up is because the car community, these are all car people that came to help me. And it just shows you how.
My name is Louis Gray from All Ends Media, and this.
Somebody replaying me. But it shows how the car community can get together and do something positive, man. And so we're in some talks where we're going to try to go help people around the country.
Oh, that's cool.
And do some things. I want to give back. These guys came to help me. I like to give back as well. And so you'll be seeing some stuff with us, bouncing around the country.
Yeah. Habitat for Car Humanity.
Yeah. Yep.
There you go.
Right on.
Yeah. Jungle habitat, garage habitat.
Hey, that might be a name, Marco.
What's that?
That might be a name. Habitat.
I like it. Hey, I actually got off the phone about an hour ago or so with I'm not going to say the name yet because I want to talk to him first before I throw his name out there or whatever. But kind of a bigwig, and he's got a project going on right now. And I talked to him tonight, and Heidi and I were on the phone with him, and he was like, "Hey, I'm really needing some help right now with this car that we're building or whatever." And when he said that, like a ding, and I was like, "Uh-oh, I know where our next build is going." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'll be talking to him, and I'll be talking to you guys and William and all the Iron Horse Garage guys, whatever, and throw it out there and see if you guys feel like going and doing that.
Sounds good.
Yeah, it's a badass project too.
Well, Ray, guys, I'm going to dip off of here. If somebody else wants to hop in there, KJ, it was my pleasure to meet you and share some memories about a good friend, a mutual friend.
No doubt.
And Terry, OG baby, OG. One day you'll come back. You'll come back to the right side, not the wrong side. Jesse, John, Jay, Papa
The only good
Jim.
Ford is a Ford with an LS in it. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh!
Terry,
wait
a minute. Terry, why didn't you answer my question I asked you 2 years ago? Why will an LS head fit on a Windsor?
I'll tell you what. That extra head bolt's a doozy, ain't it?
I'll tell you what.
That's what the impact is for. Send it home, man. Send it home.
Guys, good to see everybody. We'll catch you later.
See you.
See you, Lewis.
Alrighty.
Oh,
man.
Yeah.
Oh, Terry, you gonna ask your question or not?
You gotta ask your
question.
famous question.
Oh, right.
Slacking.
Okay. All right. Yeah. We
Do
might
it.
as well. Let's get it going. Every now and then we have a guest on the show, and we like to ask this question to find out. Well, what are you laughing at? Now, KJ, question. Out of the Tri-5s, 55, 56, 57 Bel Air, if you had a choice of one, now you got three of the same cars, same platform, engine, same wheels, everything. One is a 55, one's a 56, one's a 57. Which one are you jumping into?
I would probably, not even probably. Let me say this. I'd go with a 56.
That's it. You have to say another word. That's it. You got it.
No. I'd
He
go
doesn't
with a
care.
56,
He doesn't care.
but I prefer a 58.
Oh,
Yeah.
I prefer a
Accept
58.
that.
You know, that
58 convertible,
that
man.
changed.
Oh.
That when they brought that 58 through, man, I was like, and I wasn't there, but just to see it and see the difference, that was a home run, dude. And the thing is, that's a car that a lot of people sleep on, unfortunately.
Even in the Pontiac lineup, the 58 Pontiac is a gorgeous car.
Yeah.
We're still counting that as a win, Terry.
One time, Terry.
I said it. He said it. 56. There you
That
go.
was the right answer. I mean, no, seriously. The 56. There's just and just the line. There's just a subtle. There's a difference between the 5 and the 7, and that difference looks mean when it's set up right.
When it's set up right, you're right.
It's badass. It's badass. Seriously.
Glenn Hunt is 56, twin turbo.
Woo!
I just saw on Instagram.
I've known Glenn when he got that car when he was in high school.
From his grandmother.
Glenn lived like 3 miles away from me.
That car is
growing up in
dope,
Long Island.
man.
I've seen every iteration of that car.
It is
Small block,
it's
big
iconic.
block, nitrous, blower, twin turbos, every
It is
single
so
thing.
iconic.
Yeah.
A
And
buddy
he's
of
such a
mine right
cool
down
guy,
the
too. He's a very cool guy. I love Glenn.
Yeah.
A buddy of mine right down the road here, he's got one that's insane. It's a black and white. It's black with the white with the two-tone on the sides and whatever and the top. The thing, he drives this on the street and it's full caged, parachute, big ass tires, just monster motor. It's got like 1,200 horse. I mean, this thing is nuts.
Wow. Terry, why is that the question, everybody? Why is that the question of that every guest has to answer?
But before I even answer that, I think we all can agree that the 56 is a more better looking car. It's just a beautiful car. I mean, the two-tone, the lines and everything like that, it's just a better car.
It's pretty fire.
Yeah, it's like, I look at it like the Three Bears. That 55 needs a look. It looks too plain. You know what I'm saying? 57 with those wings, it just looks too broad. It's like overdone.
Wow.
Oh, man.
That 56 is so beautiful. It has the right combination of front end, back end, not too big of a wing. It's just a beautiful looking car. And I think everyone agrees here that it's just a better looking Bel Air.
So the 55 is the girl that you can see is gonna be good looking when she gets a little older. The 57 is the mom that had 3 kids.
Yeah.
Got the mom box. And the 56 is the hottie that's about 28 to 30.
I'll co-sign. I'll co-sign. I'll co-sign.
Oh, man.
And
they're getting hard to find though, Terry.
And the 8 is just a straight up grown ass woman with money.
There you go.
Got that big booty too, huh? Big old white.
Yeah, buddy.
I love the big booty, man. Oh, gorgeous car.
The 58 is Mrs. Robinson, Cuckoo Cuckoo.
Oh yeah.
Oh, this has been a good night.
It's been great.
Yeah, but Brian's here, so.
Hey,
Hey, Terry, I'm just going to have to overlap what you said on one of your recordings. That's all, bud. I know we're going to get you, we're going to get you right back over to where you got that little blue circle on. Don't worry.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You don't know? You already forgot what you said, huh? Plead the fifth.
This conversation's over. But listen, I had a couple of Super Coupes. I love that car.
Yeah.
There's clearly a lot of camaraderie and awareness of each other. You guys get together every week, or how frequently you guys? Every week?
Every Thursday.
Every Thursday night. We've been doing it for 7 years.
Yep.
Wow, man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Car guy friends, dude. That's really cool.
Listen, we've made so many friends through this show. Over 7 years. I mean, it's incredible. Yeah. Anywhere we go, we run into somebody that's been on the show or that's been connected. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I feel privileged, man. That you let me in for this occasion. This is cool.
We feel privileged.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Yep,
so it's okay, but Terry, we got to talk to you about the proper use of using a screwdriver. I saw that video, and man, every tool guy turned to. I mean, we can't warranty no screwdrivers like that, bud. I mean,
oh boy,
you talking about popping those welds?
Popping those welds. I mean, geez, that was a little rough.
What?
I don't think he was going to break a screwdriver on any of those welds.
I don't know.
Man.
You're going to have to hook up when Lewis gets his body hammers, because that claw hammer's got to stop. You're counting on that metal.
By any means necessary to get the job done, and it's done really, really nicely. So.
Yeah, but that claw hammer is made for you building a deck in the backyard.
Yeah, that's a wood hammer, sir.
Hey, I worked with a master. I worked with a master
just because it's made for something, that means it's going to be used for other things.
I worked with a master mechanic, and he used the claw hammer for a seal puller also. So I guess it does have its place somewhere.
I've done that. I've done that.
Seal puller, huh?
Yeah.
I used to chew Glenn Ridd. He's right here, NZ Mopar Outlaw Customs. I used to chew his ass all the time on YouTube when I was watching his videos. I'd be like, man, get rid of that damn claw hammer and use a body hammer. And then the other day, I'm watching Terry's videos, and he's doing the same thing. I'm just shaking my head.
No, you know what it is? That hammer is very heavy. That's why I like it. It's heavy. It must be about 3 pounds.
Yeah, but hey, I might have a couple.
So you're going to send me some? Thank you, Arco. I appreciate it.
Hey, Arco, listen. You weren't here last week, but I've been looking for a shrink hammer all around local here. I can't find one. So Brian was like, I got you. I was like, Arco brought 10 hammers, didn't even leave me one.
Arco had 10 when he came. He probably took 13 when he got home. I've seen his collection of hammers. I had all mine locked up.
It's all right. The whole time I was there, Lewis was busting my balls. He's like, hey, let me have that shirt you're wearing and everything. I'm like,
I couldn't even get a shirt.
He's like, I don't care. He wanted it bad.
Hey, really couldn't even get a shirt, man. He comes in all fly. He comes in with embroidery and, he's all fly. I was like, bro, can I get a shirt? He was like, nah, man, let's go home with me. And he hid it. Him and Heidi hid it. I was trying to steal it.
Repping his brand. You repping your brand, Arco?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
there he is.
There he is.
Tyler.
Come on. Let's hear it.
Nice head.
Tyler wants
his
to
brand.
say whose shop was it in that the bus was built in?
Yeah, we did the bus.
I've been dropping hints in chat for like 45 minutes, like, oh, somebody should mention me.
You go full screen, you don't have to watch that chat.
Right.
Yeah. It's supposed to be audience interactive.
Notice how many people are in your chat?
14.
All right.
Yeah, it varies.
Yeah, it jumps up and down.
It
I was
goes
on
up and down.
when we first started. I was on a system, and we'd have 200-300 people come through at one time.
Wow.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, it was hopping. But the system that I was on, they went out of business, and it had never been the same.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah, you got to break into that social media algorithm to get enough viewership.
Yep.
It's tough, man.
But hey, the important people are here.
It's ridiculous.
The important people are here. You know what I mean? That's what we're here for.
That's it.
So Tyler is
I have to get going. I gotta put that little boy to bed because he's out of school. So yeah, he's sticking his head.
Make sure he doesn't have like a paintball gun in his hands or anything.
No, he's got a Nerf gun.
Yeah, dangerous.
Oh, you saw the most chill cat?
Yeah, I commented on it.
Didn't even care.
Yeah, I dropped your comment. That was
cat
unbelievable.
was super chill.
Yeah,
that cat's ridiculous, man. That cat, and his brother's a lunatic. From the same litter. He's the nut.
That's probably why he didn't care.
Yeah,
just like real people.
They were born in a Valium factory.
Gentlemen, I'm gonna head on off. You know, KJ.
Later, Terry.
Hey,
Have a good night, man.
Take care, Terry.
Island. Peace out, fellas. And
All
you
right,
too,
brother.
man.
No problem, Terry. I'll be in touch.
Easy, fellas. Take care,
All
brothers.
See you later.
Good man right there.
Yeah, good.
Oh yeah.
Awesome, man.
Needs a few tool lessons though, but other than that, he's okay. We like him.
He's garage.
Everybody needs a few tool lessons.
Yeah.
So KJ, Brian McElman, he's a tool guy. He has a tool truck. So anything that we need to learn about, he's our tool guy. And Porsche expert.
But down inside, I am a Ford guy. I do have a 66 Fastback, my first car that one day maybe I'll put back together. So
yeah, I just keep that faith, Brian. One day, man. It really is. Time is one side of it, but the bigger side of it is money, dude. That's always the huge side of projects and builds and stuff. With my car right here, it's actually, you can't see the whole thing. The front, 2013, I was in an accident with it and wiped out the front. and wiping out the front, I agreed to repair the car that I hit. It wasn't an insurance deal or anything like that. And I stuffed the back of a car and I had to put it all back together. And that was a pretty heavy ticket. So that, kind of took a lot of the juice out of me for bringing this one back as well. We got the body pieces in the junkyard. I found straight and clean fenders and a fascia and all that, and got everything straightened out as far as my core support and whatnot, and got everything hung. But that's pretty much where it stopped. So it's been a garage art since then, and barn find or whatever else you want to call it, because my vanity is still pretty strong, and it's like I can't bring it out 3 different colors.
Well, I did the same thing with mine. I'd put quarters and a floor in and the trunk, and I did all that right before I bought the house that we were wanting to buy, and because I knew that I'd be house poor for a while, and I got that, and like I said, I really wish I had just kept the momentum after that, because here it is, 26 years later, and it's
you lose
the
your
only
energy.
thing I gotta say. The only thing I gotta say is, at least after that, after I got it all back together, I mean, with the quarters and the new floor, because I had gone through multiple different shifters as a kid, cutting the floor up to get that vertigate in, and then super I put so many different shifters and trans and all that crap in there, At least the car.
You have a footprint gas pedal too?
No.
I got one.
I didn't. I barely had a gas pedal on there because it was just a rod. You know what I'm saying? But
it's that little metal piece, right?
Yeah. But like I said, now I look back and say, well, man, if I just go ahead and put it back stock, it's probably worth a mint now because it's probably like a few that aren't all cut up and hacked up.
Yeah, it's not damaged. Sure.
What fun is
but
that?
cutting and hacking is the best.
Yeah, there's no fun
I
in
know,
that.
but
Doesn't suck.
actually, the car is kind of rare because it is a A-code 289, 225 horsepower car.
Yeah, that's a screamer. That's a high rev motor.
And being a fastback with the deluxe interior,
Nice.
it is. I think low number. I mean, number wise, it was only something like 4,200 made. That stock, that platform. I know there was a million of them, but I mean that with those options or whatever. So it's kind of a low car in the first place.
Well, I mentioned
What year
it
did you say it was,
a
Brian?
little earlier before you came
66.
on. Get it right, and your Barrett Jacksons and Meekums and all of that. If you ever have to throw a parachute, just let it go across the auction floor, and some fool will give you a lot of money.
I'm just like you there, where I just told him to dig a hole in the backyard.
Oh, there you go, right?
And just put me in it and let it go. So
bury me with it. I really, you know what? It's really crazy, guys, and maybe you guys are all the same about your cars, but I really can't fathom anybody else having it.
Yeah,
you just can't.
Yeah,
I
know that story.
I kicked myself. The first car that I bought new
That's
was
very
80.
selfish, and that's wrong, but that's just how I feel.
I had bought
That's why I've got like 11 projects.
I had bought an 89 GT. Well, that was my first car that I bought, brand new. And I had that, I had it, and it sat for 4 or 5 years with no tags on it out in front of the house, when we bought the house and so forth. And every month, this kid come by and say, "Is a car for sale? Is a car for sale? Is a car for sale?" And finally, one day, I said yes. And the kid's eyes got all big, and I told him, I said, I told him $5,000, and he's like, "Well, I could buy." I said, "Look, dude, if you want the car, it's $5,000." And it was all. I mean, I hadn't done anything because I still had the Mustang. The 66, that was the hot rod, but this was just my sleeper. I lowered it and blew out the factory exhaust, so it was loud, but I didn't put anything on it, and so I didn't think much of it. About 3 weeks later, the kid shows up and he's got 2 trash bags or brown paper bags, just stuffed with money. I mean, there's money, and he goes, "I got the money," and I was like, "Oh man." So I laid it out, and it was like 1s and 5s and 10s and dimes.
All
and
money from his
nickels.
paper route.
I mean, there was change.
He's either a stripper or a drug dealer.
Yeah, and so to make a long story short, I sold it, and he goes, "Well," and he took it for a drive, and he almost hit the telephone pole when the car kicked out in front of the house. And I hear him go up and down the street, and he comes back, and he's like, "Man, this car is bad." I literally walked past him, and I hugged the car.
I can dig it. They do that to you.
And I was like, I should have never, ever done that. And to speed it up, 100%. About 10 years ago, a little less than 10 years ago, I found the car.
Oh, boy.
And it's outside of Jacksonville, down in Florida, and the same guy has it, and I've contacted him about 3 or 4 times to see if he'd sell me the car back.
We're all
just
offering $5,000.
We're all well in that space. I think about that, and I talk about that with my friends here. We're of the age of the quote unquote buy your old car back. That kind of thing. And then I watch some of the YouTubes of that. And that kind of stuff, and I think it's really, really cool. And there's a couple out there that I've had that's like, man, that would be kind of cool. My first Mustang, I certainly would love to have back, but that is, I've done a couple of attempts, and it's just so far off the face of any type of an identification planet that it hurts sometimes. Like, dang it, that car is gone. But in hugging your GT when it went away, I had a little Maverick that was pretty cool. It was kind of neat, and the Maverick for me, very sentimental because that was a learn how to drive car. My mom had one, and I learned how to drive on a Maverick. And I always thought, as like a Ford guy, and I was into Mustangs, but that was respectfully, that was to not have a 60 whatever Mustang. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was like the different but cool fastback. The body line was kind of cool, and I was just into them. And people just didn't get it for a while. Now they get it, and they're worth a mint. But why do you want that car? Why do you like those cars? And this, that, and the other. And I hooked mine up, but I sold it, and a kid from Arizona bought it, and the truck came, and when it went on the truck, I legitimately had to go in the house. I had to go in the house. I was like, wow, and now talking about it right now, it's like, man, you let a car do that to you? You damn right.
I'm right.
terrible.
I'm right in the middle of that the hard way, like an idiot. I had a couple of different cars, and I did a lot of dumb stuff in the 70s and the early 80s. I mean, I bought this Formula 400 from my friend's brother. I just hacked it up. I threw everything out, took the AC out, got rid of everything, put a vertical gate shifter in it, went through a couple different
with race car intentions. I mean, save yourself. Did you have race car intentions? Okay,
street racing. Yeah, the whole deal. And then it grew from a totally stock Formula 400. I built it as a pro street car with a big block Chevy. And as a matter of fact, I get the honor of being the first guy on Long Island with a legit pro street car back in 1981.
Wow.
So yeah, it's pretty cool. But to make the story, well, here's a quick picture of what it looked like.
All
right. Did you run 12?
Was it a tunnel ram, or is it just a big scoop?
Just a big scoop on a Dominator. It was a 9-second car. And to have a 9-second street legal car back in the early 80s, you're fast.
Yeah, that's badass.
Got mad respect, for that.
No doubt.
Even the engine builder that built the engine, that was Lee at Lab. He was like, how the heck did we make 700 horse out of this? He says, I don't know, you're the guy. So it got rear-ended one night by a drunk. So the next thing I went and did, I said to my body guy, can you convert this thing to an 81? It was the last year of the second gens, right? So we cut the quarter panels off, and I sold the nose, and we bought all new stuff from GM, and I built this, which you may know this car.
I've seen that.
Yeah, this camera's working like crap. Hold on a sec. Here, I'll show you this way. This would be the easiest way. That car.
Go to the wall.
Yeah, I've seen that. Is that at Raceway Park?
That's it. This is at Atco.
At Atco? I've seen that car, though. Yes, sir.
That's Raceway Park. That big.
I've seen that car. Yes, sir.
This was a magazine article they did. So
I've seen that in a lot of magazines back in the day, man. That's cool.
Yeah. That's popular hot rodding.
Right on.
So I sold that car in 1992 to a bunch of guys in Chicago, and it went to that very first Hot Rod Magazine Fastest Streetcar Shootout. And it was the number 2 qualifier. It was 1,000th of a second slower than Rod Savery's vet.
Savery, yeah.
And,
I was there. We drove 18 hours from New York to Memphis, Tennessee.
As a matter of fact, there's a boatload of photos in the Peterson archive that Freiberger took. And I wound up speaking to him, and he goes, yeah, that was one of my first assignments when I started working for Hot Rod.
How about that?
Was to go there. And he remembered the car. He was like, oh, my God.
That's crazy. We it was 18-hour trip to Memphis, and I promise you, drove back in pretty much complete silence because we couldn't believe what I saw.
It was the most amazing weekend.
It was incredible. It was
to see my car doing what it did with all of these other guys.
Yeah, yeah.
But I sold it, and at that race, and I was done because I had my chassis shop going, and I didn't even look back because I got involved in Mountain Motor Pro stock later on, and all this other stuff, and then living down here. And then reconnecting with a lot of guys that were customers of mine and friends from Raceway Park and Atco. They all wound up here in Florida. and my wife was like, everybody's got their car and this and that. She goes, and you're the guy that built them all and you don't have anything. She's like, why don't you find out whatever happened with that car? So we started posting photos everywhere. And I had multiple people telling me that it was here, it was there, it was all over the middle of the country, and then a lot of people said it was in Pittsburgh. And then one day I found that this guy that in Pittsburgh that had it, and he's like, oh yeah, I got that car, and he sent me photos of it and the VIN number, and I'm like, yeah, that's my old car. Didn't look like it did when I sold it, but it's definitely my old car. And then I got caught up in a kind of a deal like you. I wanted to recreate the car the way it was the day I let it go.
Yeah.
And I didn't want any of the stuff that he had in the car and the way it was. And I wound up cutting a deal with him. He sent me his 67 Camaro, and I built him this monstrosity of a pro touring 67. But he had some weird ideas, and we wound up putting one of those blueprint 632s that make 800 horse pump gas in a pro touring car. Yeah. So that was a real back burner job. I had to do all of this fabricating for him. He paid for all of the parts. I did the labor.
Sure.
Well, that stretched out to be like a 5-year deal. And I'm just getting ready. He's picking up the car, and I'm ready to start on the Black Firebird and start restoring this car and upgrading and doing some things. And Evan Smith calls me and says, dude, you need to get a trailer, come to Georgia. There's a Trans Am here, a Firebird here that you got to buy. It's $3,000. There's $6,000 worth of parts. It's a Pro Street, but the chassis is junk. He says it's horrible. He goes,
not for you.
He says, but you could cut this thing up.
Right.
I said, dude, I have an 81 already. What am I going to do with another one? This is where my lovely wife steps in.
It's her car.
And so she points to photos on this wall and says, this black car that's sitting here has a 70 VIN tag in it. It used to be your white 1970. And you guys made it a full-fledged 81, nose to tail. She goes, so can't you reverse engineer this 81 back into your white 70?
Hello. Yeah.
So
you know what?
I said, okay, let's go.
We have them for a reason, John.
So she tells me, let's go get it, but you have to promise you won't make this the fast car. You'll put an automatic in it and a mild motor, and it's something that we can drive and just have a good old time with. And I'm like, I'll let you have that. Yeah, she tricked me. But the way I'm redoing the black car is I'm putting a real big pump gas motor in it, and I'm running a Lenko 4-speed.
Oh, right on.
I'm going to put the Lenko's sitting right here. It's just
there you
waiting
go
for me.
There it is.
There it is with the levers.
Just pull the handles. Yes, sir.
That's what's going to wind up going in the car when I finally get it together.
That'll be cool.
You know, and I said, well, this 81 conversion to a 70, that shouldn't be a great big deal. I got in touch with the guys at National Parts Depot. I got all new sheet metal, all of the pieces that I need, new tail lights, bumper, all of that, and put a whole chassis in this thing. But it's taken longer than I expected. So now she's breaking my chops. And one of the things she says is, well, every Thursday night you're out there with your friends. Why can't you be working on the car?
Okay. It's you guys' fault.
So this is a brainstorming session how we figure out what to do next.
She says you should be out there every night after work. You should be out there doing something. Get it done.
She wants her car done.
Yeah, Thursday nights.
Well, he said he couldn't come to the bus racing event because he was too busy in the garage working on the Firebird. But we haven't seen a whole lot of progress.
Yeah, well, no, there is. If I take the camera and roll it around in there, you'll see some progress on it.
No, well, good luck with it, man. That's
so I'm gonna
cool.
basically I'll wind up with both versions of my cars.
Right on.
You know, and she's like, how many people do you know have 2 Pro Street cars sitting in their garage?
Yeah.
I'm like, nobody.
Let alone a before and after version of the same car.
That's the real cool part, you know.
Yeah.
But everybody
Yeah.
like they flip out. They're like, dude, you took a 70 and you made it an 81.
Made it an 81, yeah.
And now you got an 81. You're making it into a 70. It's like being a glutton for punishment. I'm like, yeah. It's just weird. So yeah, that's my story. Just the hard way. It's insane.
Well, hey guys, it's my bedtime because brother got to work in the morning.
Good night, Grandpa.
KJ, I appreciate you. What do you think?
Good night, Grandpa.
Yeah, right. I'll take it. Hey, I appreciate you coming on, KJ, man. Look, your family now. I tell everybody, you come on my show, hey, your family. Come on anytime
I
you want.
appreciate you guys, man. Lewis, thank you so much. From a brief meeting and just chopping it up for a little bit at PRI to this, and then all you guys and the small world that automotive is. I really appreciate you guys having me on and indulging me. Really, it means a lot. Thanks very much.
Hey,
Thank
no
you.
problem,
Yeah, it was awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, it was a
Now
good
listen,
night. Real good night.
Ray runs the after show, so you guys can stay on as long as you want. I'm going to bed.
Okay, all right.
We do have a time limit. This thing shuts down. How long does it go, Ray?
We haven't been shut down. We shut it down because usually you or me just get plumb tired. Brian's still working.
I've actually looked at some of the replays, and it does shut down a little before we do. Even though what you do, you're saying let's shut down.
Right.
I've seen replays where I've scrolled all the way to the end and lost.
When Ray leaves, that's when it cuts off. Yeah. There's a timer after that.
Okay.
And sometimes I get up and go
3
pee.
hours.
Sometimes I get up to go pee and I cut everybody off.
We do go 3 hours most nights, yeah.
A few weeks ago, you ran 3 hours.
Yeah, that's common.
Yeah.
My wife would say that you're sitting around talking like a bunch of old women, but anyway.
Right. A bunch of old men.
Well, I'm a drummer, big set like Neil Peart. Ray's a drummer.
All right, on.
So we talk music.
Terry's
There's
a
a lot
drummer,
of stuff
he's
going on. Food, crazy Italians and the food in New York and the whole 9 yards.
Gotcha.
We're still gonna get Brian to play a bass one day. I know. We're gonna do it.
Get a whole band together.
Yeah.
All right, I'm out, fellas.
All right,
Lewis.
See you, Lewis.
See you, man.
Good night.
I gotta figure out how to get
I'm
myself
still
out of
in
here.
it for a few. Can I ask a question? I have a question.
Sure.
I need to know what Mr. Longshot is all about.
There you go. Tell him.
So my name is Tyler Long, and about 9 years ago, I got up and decided I wanted to start working on people's cars and modifying them and making them faster. And I grew up, I was the only person interested in cars in my whole family, really, except for a distant uncle-in-law, sort of. He was a car guy, but no one in my immediate family were gearheads. And I just, from watching like Stacey David and Kevin Tetz and them guys on the Power Block TV shows, that developed my sense of wanting to work on stuff. So fast forward to 2017, I was coming off of a job where I'd been self-employed for a long time, and I was like, well, what am I going to do next? I'd moved back to the area where my parents were. I was talking with my dad. We were looking at maybe getting like a hobby shop together, and then I was going to find work in some other field or do odd jobs or whatever. And we couldn't find anything. So we ended up looking for a larger building than we wanted, and we ended up getting this 7,000 square foot building. And we said, well, we got way more room here than we need for our couple of projects. Why don't we try and make a commercial shop modifying cars and stuff? And brainstormed a bit and kind of took our last name and we figured me with no formal training and all self-taught and being the only gearhead in my family, no support. It was kind of a long shot that the shop was going to survive and make any money. So Long Shot Performance was born, and then Mr. Longshot is my YouTube personality.
Handle, right. That's very
and
cool.
after all of that was established, that was when he got into the movie business, and he just kept the name.
Yeah, that's not what I call him, though.
Where are you based? Where are you located?
Youngstown, Ohio. I'm right up the road from
You're
Lewis.
in Youngstown too. Youngstown.
Yep.
I went to school in Pittsburgh.
Okay. Yep.
So I know Youngstown very well.
Yep. I got a bunch of friends from Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Right down the freeway.
There you go.
Yep. About an hour. Youngstown's a weird place, man. It's halfway between Pittsburgh and Cleveland. It's halfway between New York and Chicago.
Yeah.
It's the Route 80 and Route 90 are within 30 miles of each other here, and then they join in Cleveland, and this is like the trucker superhighway through here. Ohio is mentioned in almost every movie in Hollywood that mentions a state other than where the movie is set. It's a weird corner of the country to be in.
Don't you guys have some gigantic truck stop with a museum and
that's in Iowa?
All kinds of.
That's in Iowa.
Oh, that's Iowa.
That's in Iowa, yeah.
Yeah, that's on I-80 in Iowa. It's called the
It's
Iowa
an amazing,
truck stop.
amazing facility.
I
They
hear
have an
commercials
entire-
about that all the time.
Yeah, they have an entire tractor and trailer in their showroom just to show off their chrome products they sell.
Let's go see it. It's an amazing facility. Amazing.
Yeah, people say that's a destination.
It is.
You don't have to be a trucker.
You don't have
just
to be
go.
a trucker. You don't have to be into it. I mean, I'm like into it, but you don't have to be. You will just get caught up in what's going on at that place. It's crazy.
I've caught other people on other forums, racers and stuff, and they're like, "Yeah, we went to that I-80 place. And the food was awesome. The museum was awesome. The chrome place, I could die in there."
Hey, they got a movie theater in there too.
Yeah, and it's like 200 miles from anything else. It's in the middle of freaking nowhere.
Yep,
really,
absolutely.
Kind of like where I live in Big Falls, man. It's in the middle of nowhere. People
Oh, you're in Canada, man. You're in Moose Country.
Yeah,
Moose Country.
Yeah.
You're right there. Witness
so
protection.
Youngstown is mentioned in almost every episode of the Street Outlaws because Rossler Transmission is about 10 minutes from my shop.
Wow. Right on.
And we're mentioned in every mob movie.
Car bomb capital of the world is Youngstown, Ohio.
Well, the car bomb was invented here.
That's right. That's right.
Yep. And so was the remote starter because people were scared of the car bombs.
What was his name? Green, the Irish mobster. He was the union boss. I forget his first name. Not Denny Green.
Yep.
He was the guy. Yeah.
Yep. It used to be called either a Youngstown starter or a Youngstown tune-up.
Yeah.
Is that like a New York tune-up?
Oh, we got the Italian tune-up. Yeah.
Basically invented in the Youngstown.
Yeah, and that had to come. That was because of we're halfway between New York and Chicago.
Chicago.
So it was a halfway for all the mob stuff.
There used to be a bunch of street racers out of there that had some crazy cars.
Killer Brooks.
Wait a minute. Killer
Brooks is a friend of mine.
Detroit?
Killer Brooks.
Yeah. I thought he was from Detroit.
He's right down the road.
Really? Killer Brooks.
I met Killer Brooks when I was working for Main Event Video.
Yeah, he
Got
was
real friendly with him.
Northeast Super Circuit. He was Super Circuit racer. Pro Mod before Pro Mod was Pro Mod.
Right.
I shot video at Norwalk of Killer Brooks racing the Boss Sauce Trans Am.
Mm-hmm.
Boss Sauce Trans Am got out of control and it turned and was up in the air and Killer drove under the car.
Oh, nice.
And I got that video from Main Event when I was working for Main Event, and Dean was like, "Dude, I owe you steak dinners for a year."
When I came into following that, because Animal Jim, Castellano was racing there, a
Mike's a
bunch
good
of
friend
them
of
were
mine,
all doing that racing. And
All
Killer,
those guys.
God, I can't think of his driver's name. He wasn't driving. It was Tony something, a little small guy. I can't think of his name.
Stewart.
But those guys were like this close to being really good. You know what I mean? They were this far away from being really, really good. And to this day, you just brought that name up. I've always been frustrated about that. You know, I've always been frustrated.
Us two here in Youngstown, because you know you could go one way or the other, and it was always the other.
Yeah,
Killer was a great
Brooks,
guy,
man.
Oh, he
There's a lot of
USSC
almost great
group.
Maurice
Kelly
Claret.
Catholic.
Hello.
Yep, Claret went to my high school.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
We got it all here, baby.
Yeah, right? Go to sleep.
Yeah, he just can't.
Well, he's
Too
probably
engaging.
like Chris. He's probably like Chris. He's got the show on, and we're keeping him up.
Yep.
Yeah,
Well,
right.
he's still off
He
his
just got
drop.
his
Don't let him
camera
fool
off.
you.
That used to be me when I was 7. Turn that radio off.
Listen to the midnight special with the headphones on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Turn that radio off.
Man.
Oh yeah.
Those were some really great days in Pro Mod.
Oh man, seriously.
Yeah.
I mean,
IHRA, you had every different type of car in
Yep.
Pro Mod. You had
Yep.
guys that ran USSC group. They used
Yep.
to run around Englishtown, and Killer
Yep,
was
the
part of
Super
that for a
Circuit.
while. Super
Yes,
Circuit.
sir.
You know, you had Brett Kempner doing announcing.
Yes, sir.
That was some awesome times. I
Brett
went
Kepner is
all around.
one of my best friends on the planet. Yes,
Man,
sir.
I went all around for years with Dean from Main Event Video. I had met
Wow.
him at SEMA.
Wow.
It was so weird because I had the chassis shop going, and I went to SEMA, and I had a couple of his VHS tapes, you know. And he owned a big car stereo place on Long Island, and he had a nice booth, and he had a whole bunch of monitors, and he was playing stuff, and I'm like, I said, I got a couple of your tapes. They said, I love it. I'm a drag racer. I build cars and everything. I says, but, you know, I went to college for a couple of years for radio and television broadcasting. And I had hopes and dreams to be a cameraman, like on the Tonight Show or something. And he said, and then I wound up that my professor told me all about the union deal.
Mhm.
And to be a cameraman, you got to start in the middle of the country and work your way to the coastlines. And the union is so strong that like somebody that's a cameraman for like the Tonight Show, when he's ready to retire, he'll pass that cameraman
His kid
spot
gets
down
it.
to his son.
Yeah, his kid gets the job.
Wow.
No doubt.
So
No doubt. His kid gets
I
it.
left college and broadcasting, radio and TV broadcasting, and walked away. And I
Your
went
dreams died.
into cars. Well, I went into cars because cars was the other thing that I did, you know, and never looked back. That
Wow.
was the end of that. So Dean says, "Well, I'm looking for a camera guy." He goes, "You really know how to use this stuff?" I was like, "You give me the test, and then you tell me." I says, "Because nobody knows how to film a drag race better than a drag racer." He goes,
Sure.
"You're right."
Sure.
So he invited me up to his house a couple of weeks after SEMA, and he had these really nice Sony cameras, and he screwed up all of the knobs, and he says, "Here, turn it on and give me a white balance." So I reset everything. I put it up against his movie screen, and he was like, "Oh, okay, you know what you're doing." He goes, "Next Saturday, we're going to Phoenix, Arizona." He said, "We're filming." I'm like, "All right, awesome." So we wound up doing a boat race out there, and then we came back and we did drag strip. That was when it used to be Firebird Raceway.
Firebird, yeah, Wild Horse Pass.
Yeah, now it's Wild Horse. And I traveled all over the country with him, and
That's awesome.
I got to hang out with such great people. Kenny Youngblood.
Mhm.
Wow. Oh, yeah.
Awesome artist. You know,
Yeah.
he used to come along on all of these jaunts, and he would do some voiceover stuff. Don Garlitz.
Nice.
So many people.
Legends,
John
man.
Force. I told Ray that Dean decided he wanted to follow Force, and this is when Force was, besides running NHRA, he was still going to IHRA races, and the funny car guys were doing book-in
Match races.
shows.
Yeah.
They were still doing match races.
Match races.
So we hooked up with him at Bristol before it went NHRA. He came out there for the IHRA race when they still ran Top Fuel funny cars.
And we literally followed him and his team all around the track for 4 days. And the best part was Saturday night. He had some problems, and Saturday night he calls Dean and says, "Meet me at Waffle House. I'm hungry." It was 2 a.m. Dean bangs on my door and he goes, "Get dressed. We're going to Waffle House." And I'm like, "Dude, it's 2 a.m. He's like, "John Force says he wants coffee and waffles. We're meeting Force. Bring the camera." So the three of us in a booth, me with the camera on my shoulder and eating 2 hours of video of Force telling stories of the old days, telling stories about his brother with the wheelie truck.
Wow.
And how he came up from, what was it, Bell something in California. I forget the name of the town. Starts with Bell.
Bellflower.
Yeah.
Bellflower.
Right.
Bellflower.
Yeah. And how he, lived in a trailer and had nothing and worked his way up. And guys like Bernstein were his nemesis. He could never win against Bernstein.
Yeah, you got to look at that's still even before he became who he is.
Yeah.
That's still many years. What you're talking about is a period well before, he became.
This is what he was talking about. Yeah. Well, he was John Force when we were doing this. He was running the GTX cars back then. As a matter of fact, he was actually running the Oldsmobile, the GTX Oldsmobile.
Uh-huh.
And he brought us back to the beginning. And 2 hours over coffee and waffles at Waffle House.
That's pretty cool.
It's amazing documentary video that Dean's
That's
got.
amazing. That's cool.
Man, now I gotta go to Waffle House.
Are fortunate, I'm sure, in this group here, certainly myself, and I'm amazed by it all the time, and the people of that stature, who you meet and have opportunities like that to just 2 hours, just be genuine with and all that kind of thing. So in a sense, today it's considered, behind the rope. Like if you're at an event and you have a rope that separates, there's a deep separation, you know what I mean?
Sure.
And to build yourself up and to be able to go behind the rope and actually be one-to-one with someone. Honestly, for me, I think every day about it and just wonder, it wasn't anything that I set out to do. You know what I mean? It's just the way fortune has come my way.
Exactly.
I'm certainly thankful for it, but it's just funny. I cannot think back to any wildest memory beyond just liking cars a lot that I said, this is what I want my life to be. But yet that's what it's become.
Yep.
And I will say that drag racing is one of the very few sports in general where almost everyone involved is like super into it and super genuine. Yeah. Like you go to a NASCAR race and a lot of the drivers are like hoity-toity. None of the crew members have time for any of the fans or anything like that, But drag racing, they're all like very
accessible,
genuine, accessible people that are super interesting. Like I can count on one hand the number of times I've been in the pits at a NHRA event, and I've gone up to some guy who, I don't bother them while they're busy rebuilding a car or whatever, but one of the pit crew members, while they're just kind of standing around hanging out, and they're just interested in talking and telling you how the car works and what this is, just on and on. And I love to learn, so I soak it all in while I'm in the pits of the drag race event. And you can't go to any other motorsport and get that kind of engagement.
The only time back in the earlier days with NASCAR was that way. I mean, it was genuine. Sure. I mean, I was at Dover one time during practice, and I'm in there taking a leak, and I look over, and there's Richard Petty. He's taking a leak next to me, and I'm like, wait a minute.
Did you look down?
No, but it was kind of the funny part was I'm sitting there, I was like, don't say anything. And I was like, I'm really sorry, but hey, what are you doing in here? He's like, same thing you are. I got to take a leak, and But it was like you said in the early days before they got all, and a different generation. I mean, you could watch the Busch race, and you'd have half the Cup guys in the crowd sitting next to you watching the race with you.
Now they're nowhere near. They're nowhere near an Xfinity race unless they're racing in it. And the thing about it is, that's 100%, Brian. That's follow the money. You know what I mean? Cup, and I'm a motorsports fan, so Cup, F1, drag racing, I dig all of it. But Cup has benefited from being a motorsport that corporate America caught on to. And just while the Petty era was happening, say like in the tail end of the Petty, Yarborough, Pearson era, Cup, Daytona 1979.
Yeah, that was the turning point. That was
that's where it started, and
that's
TV,
because of the big snowstorm. Half the East Coast had nothing to do but to watch that.
That's the story and that's the legend. But the big play in that is that TV and corporate America realized what TV can do with this platform, with that platform. Right. And when that happened, corporate America said to Cup teams, if you want this money, your act has to clean up. You know what I mean? Your act can't be what it was for so many reckless years. And that's when you started to see, guys going to, is it called Dale Carnegie? Just learning how to talk, that kind of thing, and learning how to say the right things. And now, with the young cats, that they're robots. They're not even having an interview per se.
That's the huge turnoff.
Correct.
NHRA. My wife, she loves watching drag racing. She used to actually work at National Speedway, and now every time there's a top end interview, they've got that speech down pat, and it's like, I'm so glad that our car's doing this. And it's horrible. They got this little speech. They're like little robots. They're little corporate robots, and it's terrible. And I actually miss the days when they would duke it out and fight on the top end. The only one that's able to do that corporate crap and still be funny is Force. Force is the only one out of all of them that knows how to step aside for a couple seconds and then get back into the position,
Yes.
And he'll never change. He's an icon, and there'll never be another Force.
But that guy's
the way he is.
You were talking about John Force earlier. He's a huge inspiration in my life too. I was about 10 years old. I was in Sacramento Raceway in California, and I walked up to John Force and the whole pit crew. They're rebuilding the motor and whatever, and he's standing there talking to like the news crew or whatever. And everybody kind of walked away, so there was an open spot so I could talk to him. And here I am. I'm like 10, 11 years old or whatever, and John Force starts talking to me, and he's picking rocks off of his slicks, and he tells this lady or whatever, come here, and he whispers something to her, and he's got a handful of these rocks, and he goes, so he's explaining to me the stickiness of the tires and the compound and all this for the traction and everything, and this lady walks up, and he puts a whole bunch of those rocks in a bag, in a little like Ziploc or whatever, and he autographs that and hands it back to me, and he goes, there you go, now you got something off my car. And I was like, what? And like, put me away, man. And I don't know what happened to it. I lost it through the years, but I mean that stuck with me since I was a kid, and I was like, man, that was cool, for him to do that.
I have a couple of his burned up pistons from that weekend in Bristol.
Sweet.
And he autographed them for me, and I still have them.
I have a John Force piston and rod clock.
Yes,
I got a rod from one engine, and somewhere. I think it might not be in here, but he signed one of the die casts, so that's a keeper. There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
That looks just like my piston. Yeah.
Piston from Antron Brown.
Nice.
Watch Antron this weekend. He was good, man.
Yep. Antron's the man.
He's doing his thing, man. I'm proud of him, man. I know Antron from he was racing dirt bikes at Englishtown, man. He wasn't doing anything associated with a car.
He's been with us. He's been with Mako for 14 years.
Yep.
That's
And
awesome.
Antron was another. It was funny because of course he does everything for us distributors, and we do anything for Antron. He's a great spokesperson that we have.
Yes.
And
Super nice Jersey
like I
guy.
said, he's a great guy, and like I said, but my first time when we had it wasn't Antron, it was his name just skipped my what's his name? Damn it. But it was at Englishtown. This is before I was even a distributor. I was wearing a Mako hat, and he came around on a moped and almost ran into me. And Gary Selzy.
Oh, Selzy. Yeah, the wild.
And he almost wiped out, and we get him back up, and I said, man, that would have been like hitting a deer, hitting me. And he laughed, and he goes, hey, you a distributor? And I was like, oh, yeah, I'm a distributor. This is even before I was with Mako. He goes, come on back. So we go back, and he takes me into the pit, into the pits, and he's throwing me. And he goes, we go into the trailer room, and he goes, this is the data log, and this is where they put the chip, build the computer, and they're putting it in, and the whole time, and I'm like, yeah, this is awesome, and of course I walk out, and I'm like, man, I'm glad they didn't ask for any credentials or anything, because I was just, I was supposed to be at the Audi school. We were down there, and the Audi teacher, the teacher that taught the class, he's like, look, guys, I know that we're supposed to be here, but Englishtown's, they're here at Englishtown, and I'm going to the drag. So whatever you do, you can leave early, you can stay, but whatever you do, if you go back to work, you were at school the whole day. Just tell me that, So I said, I might as well go to Englishtown too. So it was funny, but I almost took out Gary Selzy there on his moped. It was kind of funny.
Do you remember the days at Englishtown for the Summer Nationals where they would literally have to close the gate?
Dude, Raceway
Full
Road.
capacity.
I called it Raceway Road, but when you come off 18 and you hit that long stretch into the track, and you used to come down 18 and make that sweep into I called it Raceway Road. And it would take almost an hour just to get from that point to the gates of the track.
And every inch of parking was taken up.
Oh,
People
absolutely.
would camp out for the week.
And
that
if it rained, they would mud bog. If it rained, they would have the mud bog out there.
Every year it was like Woodstock, and they still had those wooden bleachers.
Yeah.
Way back when, and it was before they built the tower that crossed over, and they would have those fights. The other side sucks.
Yeah.
And there was always somebody would jump that fence during an oil down and drop their pants and ruin the other side.
Wow.
Those were the best days at English.
100% accurate. That's crazy. I haven't even thought about that in years, but we would sit out there, and it was so friggin' hot, you would melt. It was so hot. There was no relief in those bleachers. It was something else.
And
Good
now
time.
the Suns tore the whole place up and made it into a giant ski
Yeah.
pad.
Again, follow the money, man.
That's what it is. They say there's just not enough money in drag racing.
Yeah, right.
On a weekly level. No. I mean, seriously, I've been going there since the 70s, as a spectator, and then later on in the late 70s to race all the time. I had to. I was there when National was open and then closed, and then Hampton became the quickie track because it was only 40 minutes away from the house. But E-Town was my place, man. I sponsored a lane for a while with the chassis shop. I spent a lot of money getting my name out over there, and we had a lot of different cars that ran in the various classes, Wednesday night, and the Friday night stuff, and then the Pro Mods and Top Sportsman. And over the years, you could see that stuff dwindle. There were times when I would go there for Super Chevy, and the stands would be 20%. Nobody showed up for Super Chevy, and it just locally, it just wasn't really working. So money wise, I can understand why they decided, well, we're just going to go with drifting and all car shows and swap meets and stuff like that. But that's an iconic track.
It certainly is.
Think about all the stuff that happened there. Garlett's flipping his rail over.
Yeah.
While I'm standing there at like the 60-foot mark, and I'm like, oh my God, this car's coming back to the starting line.
Yeah.
And then he stopped it, you know,
A lot of iconic stuff.
to see that happen.
Yeah.
It was insane, you know. I was in Pomona when Eddie Hill flipped over.
That was crazy.
Wow.
Dude, I remember watching that on TV, man.
I was at Pomona when Eddie Hill did that too. I was sitting at the 1,000-foot mark when that car went up and over and flew past upside down.
Remember when
I've seen some stuff.
Did you ever see the footage of the boat wreck with Eddie Hill? When he
I've
his
seen
eyes.
the footage.
Ooh, man,
Yeah, I've seen the footage.
nasty. His eyes were black and just, I mean, he got messed
When
up.
I went with Dean, my very first trip, when I told you, he said, we're going to Firebird Raceway. We're filming Top Fuel Hydros. And if you've ever been there, you know, they have that island in the middle because it's really like an oval track in the water. And Dean says, take the golf cart, go all the way around. He goes, and there's a guy in a boat there. He'll take you to the center island, set up, and just film stuff. And literally the camera was on for like 5 minutes, and a guy in one of the lower classes comes by, and the motor seized, and those guys don't wear seatbelts. And he literally rolled over the front of the boat, over the nose, and into the water, and the boat just slid like right past him. And I caught that, and I'm like, these guys are crazy.
Yeah.
And then the Top Fuel guys came out, and there was some other stuff going on. And then I wound up like by the fence where those grandstands are, about halfway down. And I was just practicing, and there were guys making time shots. And 2 boats were going, and one of them started bouncing, and then caught a corner, and tumbled, and completely disintegrated, and the capsule came flying out one way, the Hemi engine went flying the other way, and I caught all of that. And as soon as it happened, my radio starts crackling, and it was Dean, and he goes, "You didn't happen to catch that, did you?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "I got all of it." He goes, "I'll be right there." He looked in my lens and went, "This is video gold." He goes, "Dude, you cemented your position in this place." It wound up on the national news.
Oh, wow.
My mom calls me and she's like, "Are you okay? They had this boat on the 7 o'clock news that was crashing everywhere." And I'm like, yeah. I was nowhere near that, but I'm the guy that filmed it.
Moms do that. It's funny, man, because I've been at race events, and she knows that I was there, and something happens, and was that you? I'm like, no, that wasn't me.
Dude, I did my first stunt this year with the stunt team, and when I told my dad I was going to go do it, but I called him before the stunt, said, I'm about to go on to the show. And then I called him right after the stunt, I'm okay, blah, blah, blah. Well, neither of us told my mother for about 2 weeks. And she just knew I was there to help out the stunt team. And I took footage and I put it on the TV at their house, and I recorded her reaction when she watched it for the first time. And she's like, "Why are they saying Tyler in the crowd when that person's getting out of that car that just flipped?" And I said, "Because I was the driver." And her face, she just goes, "What?"
Yeah, that's funny. And it happens all the time out here in SoCal. When there is an earthquake, if you will, that's, I guess, just because I guess the news back east needs something to talk about, and they'll say it.
Oh, yeah, they say it's terrible.
And it's like, "Are you guys all right?" It's like, "Ma, I was asleep." I slept right through it, Ma. We're good.
Yeah.
My brother lived out in San Francisco, and it would be the same thing. I'd hear about an earthquake, and I'd call him, and he said, "When was that?" He'd go, I said, "How was that earthquake?" He goes, "When was that?" And I said, "The other day." I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, there's so many.
They have that.
They happen all the time. Little ones that you could fill, but to us, it's like, whatever, no big deal. Except for that that big one, KJ, with the freeway collapse and all that, and that was in.
That was massive.
That was
Northridge
scary.
That was absolutely massive.
Freeway collapses why a friend of mine didn't come out to California to work in the hospital as a nurse anesthetist because he watched the morning news and saw that and called the people he was supposed to fly out and interview with and said, "I ain't coming."
Yeah, that was major devastation.
It was.
But for the large part, they get talked about, but they're somewhat uneventful. One time it was in the middle of the day. It was like 3:00, and I went to the garage, and I actually had my hand on the lock of the garage to open it, and I felt, like it shook. I'm like, no way! Like a middle of the day. It doesn't just happen overnight.
Right.
It happens in the middle of the day, but it was nothing.
It's so
and then
weird that
they
have so many.
Yeah, it's all the time. I have an app in the phone, and I can put that on now, and it's probably going to show something moving. So
yeah, and it's crazy because the stuff that's far, people that live further away, it gets blown out of proportion. Like a good example is like 2 years ago, there was all the hoopla in the news about the Amazon rainforest fires and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was on some random Facebook group about something totally unrelated. It was like, it was a South Park meme picture Facebook group. And someone put up a thing about the Amazon fires and how we're all going to die and the last of the rainforest are burning and stuff. And some guy from Brazil replied and he said, "So I know you guys are all freaking out about this, but I live down here at the edge of the Amazon and we are like 25% below season average for fires right now. It's not even a big deal."
Not happening.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Press needs something to talk about.
That's
Exactly.
Right.
Hey, you guys, I'm gonna get out of here. I don't mean to be rude, but I'm gonna get inside.
Thanks, man.
I'm starting to shiver, man. It's cold. It's 25 below zero right now. So
yeah, woo. Yeah, you go warm up, Marco.
He really lives. He actually lives in Antarctica, but he tells us he doesn't.
Yeah, he's close to the Arctic Circle. They don't have any parking lot lights because they use the Aurora Borealis.
We actually go out and watch that every once in a while when the northern lights are going.
That's gotta be so cool.
Walk out here, shut all the lights off outside, and you can look right out here and watch all the.
Dude, I'm building my bus. I'm building my bus to be cold weather capable, so I'm coming to visit you in the winter, and I'm gonna get snowed in up there.
Yep, we got plenty of property, man. Park it,
Very cool.
hang out for a while.
Nutty.
Nice
Right
to
on.
meet you, dude.
KJ,
Good night.
Pleasure. Take care.
Cool, man.
Hey,
Take
Justin,
care.
the Slingshot, I got to talk to you too. I'll send you a message on Instagram or whatever, brother.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it, man. You guys
Yeah,
take care.
later.
See you
Later.
All right.
Julio.
So, John,
When
let me
I
ask
was-
you, what transitioned you out of the filming? You were doing so well. What brought you?
Dean
what got you out
retired.
of it?
Dean
Oh.
retired.
Okay.
He retired and moved to Daytona.
Ah,
Yeah. He did it for a while. We did a couple of TV shows actually on.
Yeah.
Remember TNN?
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
We did
Network.
like 4 different shows on TNN. He was
Mhm.
able to sell his shows to TNN, and they put them on like a Saturday.
What shows?
And stuff like that. They were drag racing shows. One was some sort of Chevy. I forget the name of them, but they were produced by Main Event Video. But they were all pro mod based.
So that was
Okay.
you guys. Ted Jones was your competitor.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
Masters,
absolutely.
yeah. Ted Jones was your competitor.
Which is, it's weird because the IHRA let Dean go to the national events and film.
And that was Ted's deal. That's amazing.
Yeah, but I think that under contract, what it was is we were filming stuff he was filming stuff to put together videos, not to put together the race
A broadcast,
coverage.
right. The race
Right.
coverage.
So
I
it was
think
different. So
I'm
he's
pretty
got a
certain-
lot of that stuff.
I'm
He had
pretty
a
certain I
loophole.
have. I'm certain I have a couple of those VHSs somewhere. In
Oh,
the
I
cabinet.
do. I have them right up on the shelf here.
I
got a
have
couple
them.
of
He gave them to me years ago. He had them all transferred into DVDs.
Oh wow, that's cool.
And he's been pretty quiet because he's just retired and hanging. Recently, in the last couple of weeks, he's been making massive posts. He's shot everything up into the cloud.
There it is.
And you can own it on a $3 download. He's got like 70 titles.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
$3 a piece, and you get enough guys
$3 a
into
piece.
it.
Yeah, it's $3 a piece, and you can get any of the titles that he's got.
Nice.
You know? And he has some new stuff. He's gone back into his editing suite and he's re-edited a few things. It's really pretty awesome, you know. And I'm like so happy that I was like part of that.
No, that was you. That's awesome, John.
So much stuff. My camera was basically, I was the guy that was about 100 feet out from the starting line. So those views looking back at the starting line and seeing the cars come, that's me.
Gotcha.
That was my position.
And you didn't swing. You just stayed fixed.
Yeah, I swung, but I got him off the line and then swung around. But basically, then he would cut and he would go to the next camera that was further down because you really don't need to see the back of the car going down the track.
Just pick it up coming down track, sure.
But I was through the years, I was able to. Yeah. Through the years, I was able to pick some like really super awesome stuff.
Cool.
You know? That was a really good time in my life. I learned a lot. And Dean picks apart movies. He had this huge motorhome, and we had a trailer that we would tow behind with a custom golf cart to run stuff around. And I studied movies during these road trips with him, and he would tear them apart as they were on and explain to me, this is what the cinematographer was trying to do here. This was the director's
from a filming
view,
perspective.
from a perspective of a director, a producer, a camera guy. And I learned a lot. It was like a college course about framing and how to make stuff look better than what your eyes see, you know.
Right.
He was awesome with that. And one of the films that he loved to analyze was Midnight Run.
Oh yeah.
Which is just a great film, you know.
Billy
and he
Hayes.
had this,
Billy Hayes. Oh no, that's Midnight Express. I'm thinking of Midnight Express.
Yeah, it's Midnight Express. This was De Niro.
Okay.
And who else? What was the name of the guy? Had a weird name. He was the FBI guy. Something Kodo.
Yapakoto.
Yeah. He was in that. He was phenomenal. Good. He played a good part in that movie. So yeah, we used to watch all kinds of. He had a TV on the dashboard. And I'm like, God, that is so illegal. And every time we'd come to a toll booth, because it was before the days of Easy Pass, he'd shut the TV off when we go through the toll. You have to pay the toll, you know. Or if you saw a cop coming up, he'd shut the monitor. So those were some awesome trips, you know. Traveling, we would take the motorhome if it was anywhere from New York to the Mississippi line. We would use the motorhome and go north, south, and go to all these races. And he would just like to pull over and make quesadillas. I spent so much time in that motorhome. It was awesome. We had a good crew. It was like 6 people. We would rotate in and out. So it was awesome. It was a good time. It was a really good time. Learned a lot.
Cool experience.
So yeah.
Well, gentlemen, I'm going to take that pause and I'm going to call it a night. I've been up a long time today. So.
All right, Tyler. Good seeing you.
See you, man.
Appreciate meeting you, KJ.
Take care, dude. Nice to meet you.
Yes, sir. See you guys around.
Good night.
Good night.
Before I get out of here, I need Mean Papa Squirrel and Justin to say
yeah,
something.
Those are the two quiet guys.
The quiet guys. Been listening to all the wealth of knowledge going on here. So
that's what I do.
Don't let this kid fool you. You got to see the fabrication.
You got to see Justin's work. The man, he's a master in the.
Oh my God!
Unbelievable.
Wow. Well, where are you at, Justin? Where are you at?
So I work up at American Gas or a hot rod shop up in Michigan. I've been up there for 4 years. I'm kind of a builder, fabricator, engine guy, you name it.
What part of Michigan?
Saginaw.
Okay.
We're about 2 hours north of Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, we build hot rods, customs, you name it, gassers, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I just always kind of grow up around this stuff, and always kind of wanted to do it, and just got a chance to get in with a shop like this and just living the dream.
There you go, man. Living the dream. Having fun at work, it ain't work.
Right.
It ain't.
How did you find your way into that shop?
Literally, my wife and I were bouncing around, a couple different places. I had left a different job, and I just messaged these guys, asked if they were, looking to hire somebody, and the guy said, the owner's like, yeah, we actually are. So went and interviewed, and
good for you.
Started a week later.
Awesome.
Oh
Good
yeah,
for you.
super blessed.
Cool. That's cool, man. That's cool. I was just in. I just got back. I was in the UP last week. Oh, it was cold. It was so cold.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah, up our neck of the woods. Yeah, like I said, we're probably 2 hours north of Detroit, which is where we'll be next weekend for Autorama.
That's a big deal. I've never been to that. That's kind of a bucket list one to check out.
Oh man, you got to. It's I haven't been around a whole lot of shows, but that's just unlike anything else.
Been hearing about it for years. That's where the Riddler's giving out, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I got to check that out. Check that out.
Such a cool event, cool people. Like, so that's kind of one of the things it's kind of a common theme over tonight. Just, how many great people there are, and just, you get to run into so many cool people. I think the first person I met down there that was famous was Jimmy Shine.
Oh, wow.
I was probably, 16, 17 at the time. And literally he was on his way to the bathroom. And he stopped to talk to me and my brother for
something about
15,
that bathroom.
That's the bathroom thing, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, I was nobody, and just talked to me like we hung out last weekend.
That's cool.
That's cool.
And a lot of people in this industry are like that, which is just so awesome.
That's good. Yeah, that's true. You run into a lot of people, and you walk up to them, and you're expecting a superstar, and they turn out to be the dude on the corner.
Yeah,
that's the best part.
Nobody in this industry thinks that they're better than anybody else, which is really cool.
Well, I've met a couple of people.
Well,
there's a few, yeah.
For the most part, though.
Yeah, there's a couple of a small percentile, but no, you're absolutely right. Everyone that is in my space, is like really super cool, and trust me, I'm like really not comfortable with the. Oh my God, that's not necessary. Just I'm just a guy doing my job, man. At the end of the day, and the thing is, I just really enjoy my job. That's what it boils to. So, like
you got a passion for it.
Work, yeah. It's one of those deals where when you have that fire and your passion, and I've been in the cars since I was able to say the word. Since I was able to literally say the word car, that just became my thing. And like the guy he just left, my dad was just ass and gas. He wasn't a car guy. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So how it swung my way is the biggest mystery of life that I latched on and got into it. And that's latching on and getting into it while still maintaining and actually somewhat excelling, but while still maintaining in my neighborhood, especially, athletics, playing football, basketball, baseball, and being decent at it because, my peers and homeboys and all that, they weren't car guys. They were far from. They couldn't understand how I was. You know what I mean? But still, I was and managed to balance both sides of that so that, I wasn't an outcast in my own environment, yet I still had, something that has led to this, and it's just been crazy.
Yeah. And I got really fortunate too. My grandpa was a drag racer back in the day, and he owned a mechanic shop. And so, I got to wrench on this stuff, even just basic stuff. Go with him to the track and check tire pressures when I was a kid.
Still, dude.
Oh,
you're there.
Yeah.
And then I've got some good friends. One of my good friends from high school, Jared. This is what we do on our free time. We get out of school, we go tinker on something. we'd be in class and we'd have our math book out, and inside that's the Hot Rod magazine. We were actually reading.
There you go.
And inside that was the penthouse.
Well, yeah.
that was in John's math class.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and so that's I got really fortunate to be around that, and and we learned a lot of our stuff from just kind of reading and doing it.
Yeah,
like I said, hot rod, 4-wheeler. One of my big ones was 5.0.
I guess you might have seen my name in there once or twice, huh?
So I'm gonna pull out my my Bryant, Mac O'Brien Bryant, and reach into something I've got. Yeah, one of my articles.
There I am, huh?
Yeah,
that's a camp story.
Look at that.
Yeah,
that's a camp story there.
Yeah, you, Freiberger, all those guys, growing up reading those articles and stuff, and it was just really cool.
That's the coolest.
That's awesome.
That's pretty cool, man. Thank you. That's I think about that every once in a blue, man. Just 5.0. That's a whole in the space that I've been doing truck now for almost 10 years. I've been doing truck for 8 years already. And the Mustang stuff as an editor, as a tech editor, that was a decade. That was 10 years, and that seems like it was 10 years, but light years ago.
Yeah.
Because the truck space is, it's similar, but a lot different too. You know what I mean? So I hate to say that I forgot all my Mustang stuff. That's not the case. But then again, I'm somewhat stuck where I left off, and because I was getting with truck and trying to get my speed together with that, a new S550 or the new Coyote Mustangs, it'll sit next to me at the light and I don't know what the hell's going on with it. It's like, man, hold on a minute. That's crazy how it got by me like that. And where's the ability, well, not ability, but the time, honestly, to catch back up. You know what I mean? It's really something that Mustang now is, for me, like a time warp that's Fox, of course, New Edge, and the entry level of Coyote, and now Coyote's in its third generation, which is amazing. And the performance of those engines, through the NMRA and then just even on the street, it's just a beast of a platform that I really, sadly, I don't know a lot about at this time, other than it's just a beast.
And you can hang out with Bob Tasca, who's got a Mustang that's running 812 at 179 miles an hour. That's electric.
Yeah. Well, that, I don't know. You said that there's a time limit on this thing. We might run out of time getting into that discussion, dude. That's EV is a completely whole nother space that I think performance enthusiasts, let alone just the people buying passenger cars and now trucks are coming into the mix quite a bit, but performance enthusiasts and racers, and you get on your forums or your Facebook groups and etc., and you have a lot of reluctance, but I think that reluctance at some point really needs to turn into acceptance and understanding, not from a takeover perspective. I don't think it's just going to take over and change the whole racing world, but there's
got to be a place for it.
There's a place for it, John, and there's no denying what they can do.
Look what the Plaid does right out of the showroom.
Yeah,
exactly. The Plaid out of the showroom, and you have Tasca's 8-second car. You have the Camaro that Chevy built that you don't hear a lot about, but I saw that run at Pomona a couple of years ago in person, and from that being a silent car, that silent car lit the boards in 9 seconds and made the whole Pomona Fairplex silent.
Yeah,
like, what the heck just happened? So it's going to be, for some, it's going to be a sad day, because those little electric cars are going to come out more and more and more, and they're going to be pretty badass, and they're going to whip up on gas cars, and there's going to be nothing the gas guy can do about it. And the really sad thing about it is that they're going to get on the freeway and drive home.
Yeah. Right now there's a canyon as wide as the Grand Canyon.
Oh, yeah.
Guys that are hating it and other people that are accepting it. Me as a car guy, I'm accepting it. it's still in its infancy. You can't tell me that I have to get rid of my 2500 GMC pickup.
No,
because you who's got the time to sit there and wait for this thing to charge? If you're going on a trip, but that technology is going to take time.
Those are the direct, and valid points of argument right now, and we don't have the magic 8-ball or anything that's going to tell us what's going to happen down the line. We know what the intents are.
But my big problem is my government is literally trying to shove this down my throat.
Oh yeah,
with what they're doing with oil and fuel prices, and it's constant EV, and you've got the big three have already said we're pretty much done with gas motors. So you're either going to buy an electric car or truck from us, or you're going to walk, or you're going to keep your old.
You're going to keep what you got. So I'm saying the platform's not going away. The platform isn't going to dissolve and disintegrate. You're going to keep what you got. And that'll still be supported. That whole quote unquote going away is what I guess I have the problem with, people not understanding that. That's
Brian's just waiting for the electric tool trucks. I know.
Well, they actually are testing them down in Tennessee. But even when Hot Wheels comes out with your electric car,
there you go.
There's the Mach. There's the Mach. Here's the Nissan Leaf thing or whatever.
Wow. Just today, and I posted this on the social media. Just this afternoon, when I was driving back from the shop, I saw it was clad. A vehicle was kind of camouflage clad, and you couldn't tell what it was. And I just made a post about what is this, and it said on it electric vehicle testing. And a friend of mine got back to me and let me know that it was a BMW iX.
Oh yeah,
electric vehicle, fully battery electric vehicle, 600 horsepower.
I've seen the commercials for the Mercedes.
600 horsepower.
Nice.
So
it's crazy.
So there you go, performance nut and car guy, and guy that's into it or whatever. You got 600 horsepower, and we're not going to talk about the torque.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Instantaneously.
It's step on the pedal and you take off.
Yeah.
Why is that a problem?
It's so strange. About 2 years ago, I was at Bradenton at a closed test session, and Garlitz was there with his electric dragster.
Yeah.
And now you're talking about Bradenton. There's like nobody there. There was about 8 cars in this test session. So all you hear is the wind whistling by when you're standing there. And then he turns this thing on and hits the gas, and you hear the engine whining, and you hear the tires like breaking traction as he's going down the track. And it's a sound that drag race guys are not used to hearing.
Nope, not used to
it's
it.
It's very strange.
Gonna have to
hear that.
Really strange.
You could hear that in that tape that Ray played with that.
Yes,
the Tasca video.
Yep.
It was crazy listening to that.
Give hot rodders a chance, and they'll take those cars and turn them into ungodly things.
Well, everybody's doing stuff, and and my buddy Vic Cagnazzi, he's still getting burned at the stake for creating the Project X electric. But he's like, Johnny, he goes, this is the future,
Yeah.
You should have renamed it Project XE.
Yeah.
Small E. Just to really.
Well, he's opened up a whole business doing that.
Yeah.
He took the heat at SEMA. People loved it. People hated it. I've been friends with him since high school, and I looked it over. And let me tell you something. His crew.
Oh, it's well done.
Second to none. I mean, they engineered that car.
It's massively done.
They did that scan deal, and they did everything through the computer and sent it off to CNC and built all of the pieces for this car to make it usable to do what they want to do.
It's massively.
So the craftsmanship is there.
It had to be that. It had to be massively done because that's Project X. You understand,
Right.
and everything. I mean, when GM did it the first time, that was an engineered effort. That wasn't like, let's just go in the garage and do this. So that legacy has to sustain regardless of what power plant's in it.
Right.
Yeah.
And he tells me, you know, after SEMA and PRI, his phone's ringing off the hook.
Mhm.
People want to bring their cars and have them converted.
And
He's
retro.
got guys. He's got guys doing electric Cadillacs, guys doing electric Buicks, guys doing vintage cars.
Mhm.
And hey, bring it. We'll scan it. We'll fit it. Here's the GM package. Go. Have a nice day. You know.
Sure.
So he's
They'll
got
have-
this little cottage
it's-
industry going now.
Next thing you know, they're going to have Justin welding up the custom stainless charging port.
Yeah, I was
adapter.
gonna say, I don't know if I can weld a header for that, but
Yeah, no.
I'll think of a way.
But listen, Justin, think of something. Okay, it might not. It won't need a header, but it'll need something. And
that
it's
needs
up
cooling.
to you and
Yeah.
young fabricators like yourself to get on that, to get on board. You know what I mean? This is
Yeah.
really the
Oh, yeah.
on ramp is now. You know what I'm saying? And if you can establish yourself as some type of find what a need might be and develop it.
Yeah.
That's
Well, we've talked about that at our shop too. I mean, we do a lot of performance stuff, and we're a pretty young shop. I mean, a lot of young guys. We plan on sticking around, and it's a matter of time. We're doing LS and Hemi swaps now. We'll be doing EV swaps in the future.
sure.
Sure.
That somebody's going to want it. We'll do it.
And that
Sure.
package General Motors sells is a nice piece. They got everything there,
Nice.
ready to go.
We'll build another PT Cruiser
Put
with
it
an
into anything you want.
electric setup in it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Best commercial of the Super Bowl, the GM one,
Yeah.
Yes.
recreating Sopranos.
Right.
That was awesome. That was a really good commercial.
You know,
Yeah, we're-
to back up a couple steps, KJ, do you have social media information you want to share with people so they can follow you?
Oh, yeah, sure. On Instagram, that seems to be the hot one. Well, TikTok, I guess, is the hot one, but that's too young for my blood.
Yeah.
But on Instagram, I'm Big Cage, BIGGKAJE, Big Cage with the @ Instagram, and then on Facebook, simply KJ Jones.
Excellent. Very good.
Followed.
Right on. I'll follow you back.
I will do the same.
Thank you. Yeah, the Instagram seems to be where it's at.
Yeah, I'm having fun with it. To be quite honest, I'm sort of antisocial, but
Yeah.
when you
You're like
when you
me.
realize that this is like I said about the internet overall, it's like a necessary evil. You know what I mean? And when you manage it correctly, there's it's fun and it's a good time and it's a way to stay connected to people that might just be a friend in a whole nother sphere of friendship, and definitely here in the automotive space for sure. So
Yeah.
I've been digging it.
Oh yeah, I mean
Gotcha.
for me, I wouldn't know any of you guys without this show. I would never heard of Motor Mouth Radio without being online,
Right.
hanging out with you guys.
Yeah.
I'm up
Wait
there
a minute.
with the same stuff that's on the screen here. That's mine.
I
Let me
got
get
it.
this
I
right.
got you,
If you
John.
if you want to follow the build that I got going on.
So I think
No,
I
I
screwed
will.
up. You said BIGGKAGE.
KAJ like Jacob.
Oh, KAJE.
Yeah.
BIGGKAJ.
Yep. Got you following.
There you are. Gotcha. Okay, following you too.
Awesome. Cool. More
So that
followers.
was great. Good
I
night.
People
Good
treat
night.
followers like money, but whatever.
Yeah, I know. These days it's all about monetizing.
Yeah.
Right.
Which I'm not that guy. I have one video on my YouTube channel.
Yeah.
I have
Yeah,
yet
us
to
too.
produce a video on my Instagram, which I'm going to get into that. I just, you know what it is? I work on the car. I take a bunch of photos, like before and after, if I'm doing something. Like when I did the tubs, I took a picture of, the template that I made for the wheel tubs, how I laid it out, cut it, assembled it, trimmed it to fit into the car. So I take a series of photos. I may do an Instagram post with 10 photos,
Sure.
And everybody's
Yeah.
like, you need to do video. You need to do video.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Well, when
it's
you start
okay.
to look at mine, you'll see it's the same thing. I just go the maximum amount of pictures and call it done.
It's tough to do while you're working on it too.
You know what the weird part is you
right.
go on Instagram and then there's all these little short videos with
Well,
little
reels.
pieces of the reels, and it's like all these women and young guys that got nothing to do,
right?
And they're lip syncing to somebody saying something, or they're showing you these dance moves, and I'm
well, Dina
why
Parisi
am I in this arena?
Dina put stuff like that up, and I'll tell you something. I just saw in the paper today, Lindsay Lohan, who I hate, put up some stupid, I don't know, like a 6-second, and she's lip syncing to something, and it went viral instantly. I was like, oh, screw you. Get the
Come on. Tell us how you really feel.
I have yet to hit the viral home run, but there's been some things that it's cool to watch who likes or sees it, and I'm like, okay, I appreciate that. It's all good, but for the most part, it's just what I'm comfortable with sharing about either what I'm doing for work or if me and my wife are on a trip sometimes. It's just what I deem is shareable. Period. Point blank.
Right.
You're not gonna get everything because that can get you in trouble.
Justin hit the nail on the head. We got a social media web guide. He was trying to get me forever. Well, when you're at the shop, when you're working, take pictures of this stuff or take a video. I'm like, how am I going to take a video when I'm working on a car?
You're working, sure.
Put the camera on a tripod. I said, yeah, and then I'm going to turn and knock the damn thing over. I'll be buying a new camera. It's like, you got to get different angles. And it's like, you can't do it. One person, I said, I know people do it, but no. I said, maybe I get too involved in my work.
There's some people out there, Ray, that are absolutely great at it. You know what I mean? They'll do it one phone and tripod or whatever have you, and they'll get all those elements, and then in the phone there's an app that can tie it all together and make it look like like a Cecil B. DeMille movie.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not that guy.
I was amazed. We were having a party here. I guess it was about, I don't know, maybe 2 years ago in the backyard, and I had seen some of the stuff that Evan posted on his.
Oh yeah, he's
channel,
killing it right now with his YouTube.
Right?
Sure.
And I said to him, I'm like, dude, how are you doing this? And he's like, on this.
Yeah.
And he had the same iPhone I did, and he goes, watch, give me your phone. I was like, okay. He goes, open it up, turn it on. I go, okay, and I give it to him, and he goes into my picture folder, and he swipes. And he's like, this. He grabs like 15 photos, sends them into iMovie. Then he's like moving them around, and then he goes up on the internet and he downloads some free music. And within less than 5 minutes, he made a video of pictures out of my phone. He put titles, and I'm like, what? And he goes,
100% doable.
He says, you've got the iPhone app. He goes, open it up and learn how to use it.
100%, exactly. 100% doable, and I'm guilty. I have not learned how to do it. That's all. Right. I got it. I like just doing the pictures.
I think I'm
still that old guy that thinks a phone is for making a phone call.
Right.
Very often I get annoyed when somebody sends me a text.
Yeah.
Generational, Ray. You're right.
You're right. It definitely is. That's how we grew up, and I'll tell you, John's right about that because he chews my ass out all the time. What the hell are you texting me for, you moron? I'm busy.
Or me on the phone instead.
Yeah, sorry. But no, we all do that. You'll get like a text going maybe 2 or 3 rounds, and the next thing it's like, I just push the button.
Dude.
It's like, it's time to talk. It's time to
realize what we're doing.
Yeah.
My thumbs get tired.
It takes so long. It's a good thing that they have voice to text. But 9 times out of 10, if you got a half of a New York accent like we do, it doesn't translate properly.
Voice to text is no good. And I have people I'm associated with. I'm just going to leave it there. That seem to think that the phone is understanding all of your infliction and all of that. I said,
and it's great because when Brian uses talk to text, it all comes out like a crab cake.
You're right.
Yeah.
Actually, I had to pick my brother up tonight because my mom's having a little procedure done tomorrow, and but the rest of the family went up to Timbuktu to get the best crab cakes in the world, and luckily they remembered me and brought me home some. So it was very good waiting to when they got home because it was very tasty.
That's good.
Right on.
We use text to get a hold of people at midnight We don't expect them to answer it. We don't expect any of that. We just send it to them because, oh shit, I remembered this, and I need to let you know the information. I don't answer text unless I'm ready to.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
I got guys that text me in the middle of the night and they wonder why I answer them.
Yeah.
Holy crap, you're answering this? Or at 3 o'clock I get the text, why are you running my credit card?
You're up running credit cards.
Right.
Yeah,
It's Friday morning, time to run credit cards.
For a long time, I did that with email. Being in Southern California and pretty much being 3 hours behind most of the people and working that I associate with. And when I was on 5.0, that was the magazine was based there in Florida, where you are, John. It was in Tampa, Florida. Right. So my team was in Florida, and I'm in LA, and I would work theoretically an East Coast day. So I would start. Their 9 to 5 was my 6 to 3 or so, but I would actually start about 4 a.m. And when we were doing builds and working on projects and have the order parts or request parts and this, that, and the other, I would drop emails, at Comp Cams or, company X, Y, or Z. My emails were in people's mailbox at like my time, 4:30 a.m. And they would always ask me, Kate, I looked at that email. That was like 4 o'clock your time. And I'm like, yeah, it sure was. But my email was there before the other guy's email. So,
right.
Just staying.
Is that the time when they moved all the magazines out of Jersey and Evan came down here? And
yeah, probably.
All of that stuff was together.
Everything went down. Yeah.
Super Chevy with
Pontiac
magazine there. I was at that facility. That place was huge.
Yeah.
I actually was part of Mark,
Mark Houlihan, very good friend of mine. Great friend.
Evan called me up and said, hey, man, me and Mark have to do a thing for, I think it was S&W.
Okay, roll cage.
They sent a roll cage for a Mustang.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And he's like, we're doing this project deal. He goes, and I need somebody that knows how to TIG weld. He goes, you want to come out of retirement? I was like, yeah. I go, you guys got stuff? He goes, we got everything.
There. Dude, everything was there, sure.
That place was phenomenal. He worked on his wife's Camaro there. There was huge shop space in that place.
Yeah, it was a good place.
They had everything. It was amazing.
A good place.
And it was so weird that I ran into him. I went into a Dunkin' Donuts to get a couple of donuts and a coffee, and he was standing at the counter.
Wow.
And I'm like looking at him, and I'm like, where do I know this guy from? Because it was, it had been years.
All you had to do is hear him talk, and then you'd know exactly.
Yeah, and he turned around and he looked at me and he went, "Oh my God, Chassis John!"
Wow.
And I'm like, "Oh, you're Evan from Raceway Park." He goes, "Yep, that's me.
That's him. That's him."
I go, "What are you doing here?" He goes, "The magazine company moved from Jersey." He goes, "We're in Brandon." He goes, "We got this big place."
I mess with him all the time.
And he goes, "And what are you doing here?" I go, "Well, I'm in witness protection." And he goes, "Really?" I'm like,
he believes you.
I said, "I sold the chassis shop back in 2001." I said, and then I wound up down here.
Yeah.
Dude, come! You got time? You got some time? Come with me. I'll take you to the place.
To the shop,
I walked in there and everybody was there. Jim Camposano.
Yeah.
And I met Mark and all the other people from all the different magazines were all there. And then he takes me into the magazine room where they had issues.
The library. Sure.
The whole library. He goes, "Dude, anything you want, just take them." He goes, "I'll give you a milk."
I probably left with a box.
I did. I left with a box full of all these different magazines. He was giving me all of these one-offs, Pontiac stuff, because I was getting ready to mess with the car.
Sure.
It was so cool,
That's
and then
good.
he was like, "Hey, man, I need you to come weld this thing." So it was nice. It was a nice little article that they did on putting how to put a roll cage in a Mustang.
Yep.
And then they wound up giving me one of those plaques. There's a company down here that takes I have a bunch of them. Every time I had a magazine article.
In the news, yeah, I got
in the news. Yep, yeah. And
Evan had one of those made for me.
Very nice.
Those things are cool. We got one at
They
the
are.
shop
They're awesome.
with
They're
one of the
right
cars.
here. They're literally right here in Florida, in Clearwater.
And the gimmick, the deal within the news, whoever's watching this, if you ever get your car featured, not necessarily in a magazine now, but online, I'm sure in the news is still trying to be in business and taking online pieces and making those flags. And they are really nice, but they are really expensive. And the deal with in the news, one of their plays is to send it to you. You know what I mean? And like, see how you like it. But the thing is so massive that, you don't want to get caught up in the shipping it back and all that kind of thing. So they'll send it to you and see how you like it. And then they'll throw the whammy of that price on you, and it's like, well, listen, I like it. I don't want to ship this thing back, but we got to talk about this number. And usually they're able to, come to their senses and realize that it's not, bottom line, it's not worth like the $500 they're trying to charge you for the thing, and give you a better deal. But when the first time I got into something like that, and the dude hit me with the number, I was like, "You got it. It's a piece of wood, bro."
Yeah. What's not cheap anymore?
I have a bunch of them. I have one for every single time my car's been in a magazine. And the weird part is, somehow they get your information.
Yeah.
I literally got a phone call from them.
Yeah.
I didn't know who they were.
Yeah.
They found me and said, "We want to do this thing on your car that's going to be coming out next month in CarCraft." Well, and I'm like,
they gave you a "we want to do."
How do these guys know?
They hit you with it. It's already done now. It's not even a "we want to do."
With me, it was they told me about it over the phone, and you can go on this website and look. And I think at the time it was like $99 or something.
That was way back in the day.
1982. 1982.
Way back in the day.
Yeah.
This is somewhat what's in now is putting it on the metal.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah,
that's cool.
This is how the car behind me looked before the accident.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. Was that in the magazine?
Yes, it was.
I thought I remembered that car.
Yes, that car was in the magazine. Yep. So
awesome.
that's I guess you could say one of today's plaques, and it's a lot cheaper than in the news. But
yeah.
Well, guys, I got to get out of here so my wife can eat, because she's been waiting to have supper.
Starving your wife? Come on, man.
Yeah, we're going to be wrapping any minute. It's getting late.
Yeah, you guys, it's late your side. Goodness, it's got to be real late over there.
Just about midnight.
Yeah,
just about midnight.
Well, guys, thank you so much for welcoming me and having me to chat with you. I really enjoyed it. This is great. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. KJ, you were awesome.
Thank you.
I'll get you contact info from Lewis. We'll get you booked on the radio show. We'll get you on our radio show.
Well, he needs to come back on this show too.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Ray's got a great long running Sunday radio show, man. It's awesome.
Okay.
It's fun. It's a lot
Tune
of
in.
fun.
You might learn something.
I will.
That's the best thing about it. Just the way the taglines just get passed around.
Oh man,
it's crazy.
Love it every time I listen to it.
Bro. We're still waiting.
I know.
Every time I listen to it.
Come on, man.
Well, you guys be well and take care, man. Thanks for having me.
Jake.
You too.
AJ, it was nice talking to you. Thanks.
Yeah. Great meeting you.
Good night.
All right. See you.
All right. That was a hell of a good night. We had a great show.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Glad I was able to make it.
Yeah.
Tori bumped it. He sent me a text late. He was bumping around. He goes, "Oh shit, I forgot it's Thursday night." I'm like, "Yeah, we're doing Thursday." So he caught a piece of it too. So he's getting ready with his new engine build.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
He's got some good stuff going on.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he's working with Sam.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, very good stuff.
Yeah.
Very good indeed.
Awesome.
Man.
Good for him.
Great week.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a good week.
What's everybody got planned coming up for the end of the week and the weekend? Anything good?
Tin work.
Tin work. All right.
I will be trying to figure out how to put a rear firewall in this thing. It's a little different roll cage design than the other cars.
Yeah.
And so I'll be doing my templates and start cutting out some tin. And then the easy stuff, the fill panel between the tubs. Trying to think about, I don't know. I'm carpeting everything, you know?
Right.
But I think what I'm going to have him do is I'm going to do my standard between the tub piece where it's got about 6 Zeus buttons.
Uh-huh.
And I'll have him do that carpet with some snaps. So I can unsnap the carpet between the tubs, and then with the Zeus tabs, with the Zeus screwdriver, pull that panel off if I need to do any kind of service on the wishbone locator.
That's what you're supposed to mount.
Instead of doing it from underneath. No, not between the tubs. I'm not doing that. I'm putting, well, you can't see it. I'm going to get, you know, the speakers that they sell for these guys with the boats where they got the boards. What do they call those boards? Wakeboards. Have you seen the speakers they sell for the guys with the wakeboard boats?
No.
Beautiful, completely waterproof enclosed poly material speakers with ridiculous audio quality.
Yeah, some of them are crazy, yeah.
I'm going to put 2 of those. I'm going to see if I can get some smaller. I'll make some mounts off the lateral tubes that go down towards the trunk area on the roll cage, 1 on each side.
Okay.
And then I'll do speakers because of the way the old cars, like the kick panels had a lot to do with some of the air conditioning shit.
Right.
Which I don't have any of that going on. Just the hoses, which are actually going to go up above, basically behind the dashboard, above where that vented deal is on the kick panel. So I'll mount speakers in the kick panels. So I'll have front speakers, back speakers. Done.
Okay.
I don't need audiophile craziness in a car like this.
Yeah.
But I do want some decent sound.
Sure.
So I'll do that. I don't want to put anything in the door panels. I hate when people mount stuff in the door panels.
I know.
It's just I don't like it, you know.
Right.
There's no place to put anything in the dash unless they make a good split 6x9.
They do make something that they make for the stock speaker grill. They put 2
stereo
tweeters
6x9 or 2 tweeters
or
something.
2 tweeters, yeah.
Yeah, so that's an open space that's usable.
Right.
I could mount something underneath. So I could do a 6-speaker system. I'll probably wind up talking to Scott. He's got some good ideas.
Yeah.
On what to do. But I don't want to see anything other than those 2 pods that'll be attached to the roll cage.
Right.
Behind the seats.
Yeah.
Either that or, you know how you got those side panels that are below where the roof line comes in?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I don't have anything there. That's wide open.
Uh-huh.
We cut away all of the stuff that would normally support that back part. So
Okay.
you got your door jamb and the inner jamb, and it's clean all the way out to the quarter panel.
There you go.
So I could do a panel there that's cut to fit the tub and fit the door jamb line and come straight across. And I could actually mount speakers there.
Sure.
So they'd basically
That'd be good.
hidden other than the grills.
Right.
So I could do that. So I have options.
Yeah.
That'd be a nice clean spot.
Yeah.
Well, back in the day, no radio. It was the sound of, 543 Ford gears whining.
Yeah, sure.
Spools,
Sure.
chirping tires, engine, shifting.
I mean, that doesn't suck.
No, that was awesome. But at 63, I want
Right.
to hear my Sirius XM.
Exactly.
But
If I want to hear the car, I can shut the radio off.
Right.
I blew the seal between the intercooler and the charge pipe on the tool truck, and it's too bad it couldn't pick up on the video because I wanted, because you could start out and all of a sudden you could hear it spool up and then you could hear it drop. You just and boy, what a pig! That tool truck really fell flat on its face. That that was a terrible drive home Friday night when that thing, especially if you had any little hills trying to move that elephant up there. But
And you're always having troubles with that truck.
Man, I hate that truck. That truck, man.
Did you get rid of that toolbox today at least?
Oh yeah,
good.
It went out. It went out. And again, like you said, I forgot to take I gotta go back and take a picture of the damn thing. Yeah. I just so busy trying to get all that stuff and not being able to post. But that was a mild Joker box. It was screaming green with purple trim.
Wow.
So
oh my God, how gaudy.
Man, it looks really nice.
Yeah.
And, yeah, you'll see the picture.
I like green. I like purple. I don't think I'd like the two of them together.
Yeah, it's screaming green. Some guys will put like purple drawer line drawers in them, and that's if you look on the Mako site, they call it the Joker box. Because of the green and purple. But
it looks like Kamala Harris.
Well, it's a very nice box, beautiful box, and we did a box, a half locker, and a side cabinet on it. So it came out to be like 129, almost 130 inches long.
Wow!
So it was.
Hey, would they make a box? Remember those cars that they used to take? Every single panel was a different color.
Yeah.
Would they make a box like that?
Yep.
Like a red frame and a green drawer with a gold handle, and then a blue drawer with a red handle, and then a black drawer with a white handle. All you got to
do, John, is go to Mako Tools, go to the toolbox configurator, and you can build your box, and you can add colors like that.
That would be really cool to have a box that's the colors and the handles and the finishes, no rhyme or reason. Let's just grab every single thing they got and stick it into this box, and it would look like it would just look like punk
Partridge
art.
Family.
Well, yeah, it would look like graffiti, like a graffiti box.
Well, I'll tell you one better. My buddy Mike at the shop, he's got a Snap-on cabinet. And it is a graffiti. It's a yellow box, and it's like all the writing. It's all graffiti written on it. So it looks like someone left it on like 42nd Street,
and they came and tagged it.
Someone just tagged it, and that's how they sold it.
Yeah.
I said, who the hell?
So Matco would do that. You could just pick up all of this stuff.
We could. I mean, like I said, they can. We have drawer coloring and case inserts. I mean, case color, and like I said, you could have different color trim. I mean, some of the guys, some of them are just really out there, and then on top of that, we get guys like we'll get 2 or 3 guys in our district, and we'll buy toolboxes, and then we switch all the parts inside the toolboxes with each ones.
Oh wow!
So then you can you kind of say that this is the only one because they all have interchangeable.
This is the only one, except for the other 3 that are just like it, but in reverse.
Well, in reverse ways or whatever, you get a couple different colors thrown in.
Right.
So the guys, if you did something weird like that, the guys in assembly must be like, "What is this dude thinking?"
Yeah,
they don't care.
Crazy.
That's why I have, like on mine, or maybe one day I could show you guys, but mine's the blue, and I always wanted to take out one drawer.
Blue. Yeah, me too.
Yeah, the blue is beautiful. Blue and chrome saves the day. I mean, I that's 90. Every district manager that I've ever had that rides with me, they finally realize all the toolboxes I sell are blue and chrome, because they walk into a shop and they say, "Oh yeah, Brian sold me this box," and they say, "No shit," because it's blue and chrome, Because they all ask me, "What do you like?" And I just love that color. But I want to take, my box reaches across, but I want to take one drawer and put a white one in. So I have a white line in with the blue. You know what I'm saying? Going across, and it all would all line up. But
all right.
Like I said, if it wasn't $1 million for the drawers, but
so just have one of the body shops painted for you. Just
actually,
do that.
They're powder coated or have them wrapped. That's the big thing now is wrapped. A
either
lot
way,
of guys are getting these things wrapped left and right.
Oh, speaking of wrap, so I'm talking to Brad, guy that works for me, and I'm like mulling over. We talked about the deal with the license plate last week.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm gonna pull the trigger, and I'm gonna put the Mr. Tin plate on my truck.
Cool.
Instead of putting it on a work van where it could get splashed with salt water and whatever. So I will have that plate that way when that car's ready. Go.
Good.
So he goes on this site and he's showing me some tags, Florida tags. Some guy took carbon fiber wrap. He's got a custom plate, put carbon fiber wrap over the plate, and with an X-Acto knife, cut out all of the Florida stuff and the letters and everything, and then he put the yearly tag on it and claims that nobody has said a word because Florida has like 30 different custom tags.
Yeah.
You know, he goes, dude, this would look really cool on your car. And I'm like, you're damn right that would look cool on the car, having a carbon fiber license plate.
Yeah, guy just made
because that car's going to get carbon fiber tubs and carbon fiber flooring, and there's going to be carbon fiber all over the black car.
Oh yeah,
that's gonna be cool.
Yeah,
you know. So I'm like, that would be awesome. He goes, just do like this guy did.
Yeah.
He goes, and if a cop decides to pull you over, he says, what are they going to do? Write you a ticket for screwing around with
the tag.
defacing
face
tag.
license plate. Yeah.
He goes, but the tag's legit. It's a real tag. The sticker is there. He says, chances are if they're gonna pull you over, it's because they want to see the car and wonder why you have two parachutes hanging off the wing.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Because I'm Batman. Damn it.
Yeah.
Batman.
That's why. Atomic batteries to power, turbines to speed.
That's it.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
I'm just upset that I still can't get the original for this car.
You're way ahead of the game. Don't be upset.
Yeah, I know.
You got more than you ever thought you were going to get.
I've been waiting for years to get that Mr. Tin plate.
That's cool. Yeah, that's cool.
So I can't believe it came up. I'm like, wow! I got to get this before somebody else does.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Good.
But my wife says, she goes, well, what did the white car say? I said, it said, oh, wow. And she's like, you're going to get that? And she goes, you're living in the garage. I am not driving a car with a plate that says, oh, wow. She goes, that is so Valley Girl 80s.
Yeah.
That's what everybody said when they saw the car, and I went to Motor Vehicle, and it was available, so I bought it.
Gag me with a spoon.
Yeah.
It's
unreal.
All right, kids, we got to get ready to run. We got some crappy weather in the morning, and then it's going to be like 58, 60 degrees here. So
sunny in the high 80s. I'll be out there with the shovel and tape measure.
That's all right. I took the day off. I'm taking vacation days, so I'm not working tomorrow. I don't have to drive in that crap.
I got to move a 200-gallon fish tank from one building to another tomorrow.
We
work for a company. Have you ever seen those exhibits called Bodies, where it's human bodies, like minus the skin, and you see all the muscles and everything?
Oh, yeah.
And they're in different poses.
Uh-huh.
The company that builds those things, they're a customer of ours.
Oh, nice.
It's so weird because when we hooked up with them, they took us for a tour, and they show you how they actually make the muscles.
Uh-huh.
That it's all of these synthetic fibers that they weave together.
Yeah.
And then they mix in the tendons, and it's an assembly line. And the material has to be kept moist they take us in this room, and the woman hits the switch, and all of these lights, like a sci-fi movie, all these lights go on, and you hear the relays, bop, 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 and the lights are lighting up all the way down. And there's like 100 of these like coffins.
Wow.
They're plastic. And they open them up, and there's these fake bodies and body parts floating in this like saline solution.
Oh, geez.
What a freaky place. Everybody's walking around with lab coats. And you go from station to station. There was a woman, she was sewing eyelashes into an eyelid, you know? And I'm like,
she does threading on the weekends in the mall.
This place is the stuff of nightmares. And they literally build human bodies out of all synthetic stuff for these displays, these art displays, and for the medical field. You know, these things are dead on. You cannot tell the difference between one of these things and a real human that's been stripped of their skin. That's how accurate they are for the medical industry.
Should bring home a girlfriend.
It's crazy. The bones are made out of this special urethane.
Yeah.
It's nuts. It's really nuts. So they're expanding, and they want to move the tank to a different building in the same campus. So we're going to go there tomorrow and drain it down, disconnect all the plumbing and everything, pull the fish and the rock work, and use my hydraulic tables, get it off the stand, load it, move it like 1,000 feet down into another building. And then I'm done for the weekend.
And then bill them.
Yep.
Oh, trust me.
Get paid.
Yeah. I already know what that bill is.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, it's because I know, I know my business. So it's like, this is a 3-hour job and 2 guys, and this is what it's going to cost you.
Yep.
And they're like, yeah, no problem. It's all good.
Beautiful.
Come get it done.
Beautiful. We'll get a pastrami sandwich. Call it a day.
Nice sandwich. Well, actually, right around a corner from the facility is it's a great barbecue place that's military oriented. They make the best pulled pork you've ever had.
Nice.
So that's where lunch will be tomorrow.
Yeah, my wife picked up we went out. She got like a pound of pastrami. Having hot pastrami with sauerkraut, or mustard on rye. Just like
so nice.
It's like, half of it's gone. Shit, make another one. It's like you don't want it to end. It's like, oh my god, it's so good.
I'll stop by, Ray. That sounds good.
Oh man, it's delicious.
Nothing like New York pastrami.
Man, that's the problem. You guys start talking now. I gotta go upstairs to fix a sandwich, and man, it's fucking midnight. Shit.
You don't know, man.
You guys have killed my diet.
Katz's Deli.
Yeah, Katz's.
Yay.
We'll just go out to
what was the other one? What was the one that closed?
Katz is closed, I think.
Katz is closed. So what was the other one? Broadway?
Broadway Deli. There's one down here in the Lido Deli is phenomenal. That's another one in Lido Beach.
We got a deli. We got a deli. Mike and Ike.
Mike and Ike.
Mike and
Cecilia.
Well,
Mike
two
and
guys.
Somebody else.
And it's funny because they got a guy in there, and he's a New Yorker, that making the sandwiches, and
what do you want?
So Mike and Barry, that's the name of the deli, right?
Yeah. Two nice
Great.
Jewish
I mean, I've eaten there for 30 some years. You know what I'm saying?
That's
This is awesome. So one day I'm in there getting a sandwich, and there's a guy in there. I guess it was one of the first times he was in there, and he's like, he's getting a pastrami, and he goes, and I want that hot mustard, and he's like, you do have that, right? And the guy goes, this is a fucking deli. What do you think?
Nice.
Beautiful. You can see Mike. Mike is like, hey, it's like, And it's like, what's wrong with this douchebag? Fucking
Right.
we have hot spicy mustard, you know?
You got to get like a Hires root beer and a bag of chips, a pickle.
Yeah.
You got to have
The best
all
is
that.
when you were in the city and you take somebody to like Katz's or to Broadway when they're not from New York.
Yeah.
And you walk in there and the guy's behind the counter and he's got the little pad with the pencil. He's like, "What do you want?"
Right.
You know, and then he look at you. He goes, "Oh, you don't know what you want. All right, next." And
Yeah,
they go to
next.
the next guy. I'll
Right.
come back.
Yeah.
Because everything's
Yeah.
fast in New York
Yeah.
City, and if you
But
walk
it
in
was-
there and you don't know what you want, I'm moving.
Right.
I'm gonna have to
But it
prepare
was-
ahead of time.
It's so bad. You know, I walk in there and they know exactly, and I'll just tell them, I'm gonna make your weekend or not, because that means I'm ordering subs for everybody for the house. You know, I'm gonna pick up and take, or just for myself. You know, so they know what the order is. But it's funny as hell.
Ryan walks in, the guy goes, "All right, another kitchen sink."
That's it.
There we go. Load them up.
But
Remember that ice cream place?
That was Jan's.
Jan's with the kitchen sink.
Yep.
Oh my god, we used to go there for my birthday once in a while.
It was like 32 scoops of ice cream.
It was this huge,
Wow.
gigantic bowl. It was like 32 scoops of ice cream. You tell them what flavors you want. They had a lot of different flavors there.
Give me
They
all
would
of them.
they would take like a whole bottle of Hershey's chocolate syrup all over the thing, like 3 cans of Ready Whip
Yeah.
all over it. Like 2 pounds of sprinkles, 3
Yeah.
scoops of nuts. This thing weighed about 20 pounds.
Probably 24 pounds.
Unbelievable.
we just got our
See, we need
Mako ice cream
places like
bowls.
that.
Oh,
you
sweet.
got-
Yeah, those are cool.
Yeah, they
Very
just
nice.
came. I got they come 2 in a box, so it was 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and none of them were broken. That was
Well,
You
awesome.
lucked out.
You know what box you could put one of them in?
Yeah,
Right there.
I already did, Ray.
Oh,
I mean,
good.
you're easy. Come on,
Yeah, I'm
man. I
easy.
mean,
Right.
Yes, I told my guy he better get some.
Right.
yeah. I can't believe they came because I was surprised.
Cool.
But yeah, and I ordered 5, but I only got 2 of the ice cream scoopers.
Yeah.
So I hope I get some more.
Yeah, maybe one day they'll send you tools too. You never know.
Hey, I want to tell you something. I got the other day. I got what was that? $9,200 in tools.
Nice.
Wow. What was that? Like 10 screwdrivers and a ratchet?
No,
That was the Snap-on guy's order.
Yeah.
No, I tell you, man.
No kidding.
And that week, actually last week, because I was afraid of this, and I hope I can get through it, because that's a one hell of a tool bill tomorrow and the next week. But I jumped $38,000 in a matter of 10 days.
Oof.
Wow.
Yeah.
You sold or collected?
No, that means I purchased.
You purchased.
I haven't. That's
All right.
I haven't.
Well, I mean, you got to buy it so you can sell it. So
Yeah.
you know.
But that's what I was afraid of, is all this stuff was going to break loose at one time.
That's a lot of money out in the wind in that business.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
You know.
But the good thing is, John, like with them, they'll do in the flyers they do the special. So, I know me, like you see that flyer, like, hey, yeah, you got that? Let me have that. If you see it, it's like, yeah, you just impulse buy it. Like,
Yeah.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
A lot of
I'm
times.
gonna have to put the dancing girls up in the truck and the tacos, so
Yeah.
that I get everybody out to the truck. Because once you get to the truck, once you get into the spider web,
The
I
danger
got
zone.
you.
Right.
So,
That's because you use sticky paper on the floor. People can't leave. I can't lift my foot.
Nice.
The interior door handle is always broken. I don't know why.
Right.
I know. Yeah. It's yeah. To
Buy
leave,
something,
you got to go this way, and there's no exit. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Just
Right.
palm wall in the back of the truck.
Yeah. There's a toolbox in front of that door. You want to get out, you got to buy that.
Takes them into
Yeah.
a maze.
So
funny.
I gotta
All right,
get
boys.
busy next week and sling some chrome.
Yeah.
Do something.
Yeah, so it'll all work out.
All right, guys. So for Lewis Lee, we're wrapping it up. Medical Man Brian, Justin, Chassis John, Ray Guarino, Motormouth Radio. John, what do you always say to Chris? Always says that now you used to first say, but now everybody else says it.
Don't follow us home.
Got that right.
Yeah.
All right, boys. We'll see you here next week, and see some of you on. I'll be on Sunday. We got the. I got the guy from Power Probe on.
Oh,
Sunday.
this weekend? Yeah.
Very
cool. So we'll be talking about Power Probe stuff.
Cool.
That'll be cool, and
I might learn something.
And we all might learn something.
Yeah. Don't energize that orange wire.
Right.
Or the yellow one.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, I meant to ask him when I was at Expo about these electric cars and so forth, if they were doing anything different for reading or whatever. But
some of the
maybe I'll have
voltages
to
in
call
those
in.
cars is very high.
Yeah, it's crazy stuff.
On the main bus, it's like 600 volts.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And some people just don't understand. They like to I've watched guys take a power probe and just start plugging it in and turning the switch both ways to see power ground. And I'm like, holy crap. You don't,
Yeah.
So
not good,
No.
And they got that cargo ship out there that went on fire.
Right. Royal luxury car. Yeah.
With the Porsches, that was awesome.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and they said that there was batteries that fired up, and they were afraid of, because the ship's abandoned, what was going to happen, if the ship sinks, are these batteries still going to continue to cook even though they're in salt water?
Yeah.
Because the problems when one of those electric cars lights up on what it takes to shut it down.
Easy. Yeah.
Once those batteries get going, you can't put them out.
Yeah.
So think about a ship full of a bunch of them.
Well,
it's good for the environment. Don't worry, it's safe.
It may be
AOC says it's as long as it's in the ocean where there is nobody, then it's fine.
That's where she should be, out in the ocean where there is nobody.
It'll be fine. All right.
All right, guys.
Kids.
Go to bed so I can wake